Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire.
It has been an impressive run for Jeff Bannister and the Rangers since July the 21st. They are 41-22. That is tied for the second best record in Major League Baseball. Prince Fueller has been helping to lead the way as we welcome him to Globe Life Park. We're in Arlington tonight, game one in the series featuring the Tigers and the Texas Rangers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Tampa alongside Ron Allen. Glad to have you with us here for game one in the series. And really, Ron, this is a series in which the Rangers have a lot riding on it, but they've been playing some of the best baseball in the American League.
You brought it up. They're led by their manager, Jeff Bannister, who's going to get serious consideration for Manager of the Year. Up and down their lineup from top to bottom, they got a lot of guys that are simply getting it done. Their bullpen has been outstanding, and that's why they've simply taken over the West.
All right, pretty good pitching matchup here in game one of the series. JV will go for the Tigers. We know he's been pitching well, and Colby Lewis has been really good for them.
Colby Lewis has kind of reinvented himself. He threw 99 pitches in his last outing. Over 50 of those were sliders, and they tell us he's been slider happy these last few games that he's been out there. So the Tigers need to look for that pitch. Justin Verlander's last 9 starts, well, he's been the Justin Verlander of old. He's gone out there and pitched very well to a 2.10 ERA, and we've well documented the fact that Verlander also using that slider quite a bit these days, along with that fastball up in the strike zone. Good breaking balls, good changeups. Justin Verlander's been on point lately.
All right, stay with us. Game one in the series just minutes away. Right now, we'll send you back to the Coliseum Studios. Here's Johnny Kane. raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Nestle, good food, good life. Back here in Arlington, Texas, as we get you ready for baseball here tonight. Tigers opening up a 3-game set against the Rangers. We're at Globe Life Park here in Arlington, where fans are still filing in for Game 1 in the series on a warm night here in Arlington. Here's the starting lineup for the Detroit Tigers tonight, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And for the Tigers this evening, they will have Anthony Gose leading it off in center field, followed by Tyler Collins in left. Miguel Cabrera is batting cleanup. Good numbers career against Lewis. Martinez, and Castellanos in the middle of the Tigers lineup tonight. And then McCann, Romine, and Machado rounding it out.
Let's take a look at the starting defensive alignment for the Texas Rangers, which is brought to you by Tim Hortons. Right to left, they have Chu, DeShields, and Hamilton in the outfield. Up the middle, they have Andrews and Odor, a couple of outstanding young players. Beltre, Moreland on the corners, and Jimenez is the catcher. They have made 116 errors this season as a team, which is third most in the major leagues, but yet they're headed to the playoffs.
And the Tigers tonight are facing right-hander Colby Lewis, a 17-game winner this year.
He gets a lot of run support, 6.5 runs per contest. He's gone out there in 31 starts, so that's how he's won 17 games with a 4.36 ERA. He's piling up lots of strikeouts these days with a slider, 134 of those, 41 base on balls, in the league hitting .259 against Lewis, who's battled a lot of injuries throughout his major league career.
Well, we do know this has been a whale of a turnaround for these Rangers. Look at what was going on through July 20th in the American League West. The Rangers, Rod, were 9 games behind the Angels, and now look where they stand.
They finally got healthy. They got Holland back, one of their pitchers. They went out and they got a deal done with the Philadelphia Phillies, bringing in Cole Hamel. Chu also started to perk up, along with Fielder again, Beltre and Moreland, and then you add it all up, they've simply taken over the West, partner.
Yeah, this lineup is rolling. They've gotten some pretty good pitching, and we'll see how this 3-game series transpires, but certainly the Rangers trying to draw a little bit closer to winning the West as they come in with a 2.5-game lead on the Astros. Now, Miguel Cabrera, certainly you would think, would be an impact player in this series. He's an impact player anywhere, but against the Rangers, his numbers are awfully good.
You know, these are video game numbers that Miguel Cabrera has put up in his career against the Texas Rangers. In 70 games, 67 runs driven in for Mickey, a .393 batting average with 12 home runs. He has simply worn out the left-handers, the right-handers, the setup men, and the closers. Miguel Cabrera has been torrid against the Texas Rangers in his big league career.
So here is Anthony Gose getting set to start things off. It'll be Gose, Collins, and Cabrera, the top 3 in the Tigers starting lineup, facing Colby Lewis. Anthony getting the call in center field tonight, batting .254. He's hit 5 home runs this year.
Gose had the afternoon off yesterday in the final home game at Comerica Park. Rajay Davis, he started in center field.
First one is hit sharply to the first baseman Moreland. 1 pitch, 1 step, and 1 out.
Expect a lot of the Tigers to swing early and often tonight against Lewis. Has been told he will throw you a fastball early in counts, and then he goes to that slider, and that's why Gose jumped on that first pitch.
It'll bring up Tyler Collins now, who gets the start in left field and batting second in Brad's lineup tonight.
Nice day yesterday for Tyler Collins. Had a couple doubles.
And so Collins earning himself another start tonight. .260 batting average.
And when Brad met with the media before the game today, he was praising Collins in the way that he's played down the stretch, even though some of his playing time had been taken away by Moya and Rajay Davis. He really likes what Collins has done lately.
It's fouled straight back. It seems like when Rajay got hot, then obviously he was in the starting lineup. Then Collins would get hot after getting a start, and then he was in the starting lineup.
Yeah, neither guy really, it's not a straight platoon system out there. It just kind of depends on who has had that hot hand.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Tyler rolls it foul down the first base line. There's Rajay Davis, who will get the night off tonight, but he has really performed well down the stretch, and it's going to be interesting to see where Rajay ends up next year.
I hope he comes back and plays in Detroit. I just love the energy that he plays with. He's a great teammate. He's a really good person to have on your squad.
Collins rolls one back up the middle. That's the shortstop Andrews across the other side of the bag for out number 2.
2 up, 2 down. A couple of ground balls for Colby Lewis.
Told you at the top of the show that Colby Lewis, in his last start, he threw 99 pitches. And over 50 of the 99 pitches were sliders. He's got a slider that goes anywhere from 80 to 84 miles an hour. His fastball these days tops out at about 91. He will also mix in a curveball and a changeup. So Colby Lewis has all 4 pitches.
In search of his 18th victory of the season tonight as Miguel stands in and looks at strike one.
And they're shifting on Miguel Cabrera Odor, the second baseman, directly behind the second base bag. But really, we've watched Miguel. When he wants to hit that ball right towards second base, he can do it whenever he wants to.
Miggy waves and misses, and the count is 0-2.
And there's that slider that the Tigers' right-handed batters will get a heavy dose of tonight. Not a real hard slider, but he's kind of reinvented himself with just a big breaking ball.
And Cabrera takes high, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
For a guy, Mario, that's had Tommy John surgery, he's also had rotator cuff surgery. You would think the last thing that he'd want to do is throw 60% breaking balls these days.
No doubt. Yet this is what he's doing to get victories, and he's piled them up in a swing and a miss. And he gets Cabrera with another one. A 9-pitch inning, a strikeout for Colby Lewis in a 1-2-3 first. Here comes JV. Presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Last 9 starts, Justin Verlander has been one of the best pitchers in the American League as far as the earned run average is concerned overall this year. JV checks in with a 3.50 ER, well 3.49, shade under 3.50, with 99 strikeouts and 29 base on balls.
Texas lineup tonight presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Top 3 in the Jeff Bannister lineup features DeShields, Shue, and Prince Fielder. Beltre is at third, followed by Moreland and Josh Hamilton back in the lineup these days. Andrews, Odor, and Jimenez, your bottom 3 for Texas. So JV will go to work now in a scoreless game. We head to the bottom of the first in Arlington. And the first one home is a strike on Delino DeShields. .260 batting average this year. A couple of home runs. He can steal a base if he reaches.
His numbers don't jump off the screen at you with the OPS that's in the 700s. But he's a lot like Rajay Davis. When he gets on base, he stirs up stuff. He gets the attention of the pitcher and the catcher, the opposing manager, the outfielders, because of the energy that he plays with.
Well, the guys batting behind him will drive him in. He has scored 77 runs this year, the best among rookies in the American League.
His daddy was a real good player as well. He went by the same name.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Delino DeShields.
Old school. No batting gloves for Delino.
Here is Verlander's 1-2. And DeShields pops into the air toward right, shallow. J.D. Martinez under it, and one gone.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense presented by Beaumont Health. Collins, Ghost, J.D. Martinez in the outfield. Castellanos, Machado, Romine, Cabrera in the infield. James McCann is the catchers. And Tigers have been kicking that baseball around a little bit in the last 9 games at this ballpark. 14 miscues. You know, one thing about this ballpark, though, Mario, because it's so hot here, the field surface is so hard. Not to make any excuses for the Tigers, but when they come to this ballpark, the grass is short, the dirt is hard because you don't get as much water as you normally would get. Therefore, balls get through the infield, and they make some mistakes defensively.
Fast track here is what you're saying.
It's very fast track here.
Well, here is Shin-Soo Choo batting with 1 out. They played a pull just a tad on Choo. And he fouls it straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Choo battled a lot of injuries last year. His first year on a huge free agent contract. He just did not pay huge dividends on what they paid him. Yeah, but he's playing much better these days.
7-year contract after the 13 season signed by Choo. Now Verlander with the 1-1. Up and in, straightened him up, and the count goes 2-1. Choo with a 5-game hitting streak going. And he's been among the hottest hitters in the American League. In fact, in the month of September, his on-base percentage is over 500.
He's always been an outstanding fastball hitter, too.
Bouncing ball right side, routine for Romine. 2 up, 2 down.
Ian Kinsler getting the night off. That's a real nice gesture by the manager, Brett Ausmus, knowing that Ian Kinsler probably came back home and where he lives in this area. Had to get up this morning, take the kids to school and everything. So he got to the ballpark today and giving them a nice little day off.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Romine gets to play, and so is Machado.
First time we've seen Romine in a few days. He kind of tweaked the groin on that homestand, had to miss a few games.
Here is the former Tiger Prince Fielder now with 2 outs. And Fielder looks at ball 1.
A real nice year so far turned in by Prince Fielder after nearly missing the entire 2014 season with neck surgery. He's rebounded very nicely.
Fielder 22 home runs. He's knocked in 91 this year. Pops that one up foul, back out of play.
He basically carried the offense the first couple of months of the season until Choo got hot, until Beltre got hot. Andrews woke up. Odor came back from the minor leagues. He was hot. But it was Prince Fielder that kept him in the running in the first half. There's the numbers to back it up.
A little bit high, 2 balls and 1 strike on Fielder. Prince doing pretty good work against right-handed pitching as you see the shift the Tigers employ. There's only Castellanos to the left of second base, but Prince at .338 versus righties this year.
Whoa.
And he backed him out of there inside. 3-1. Fielder for Kinsler was the trade, which has sent Prince here to Texas. Of course, Tigers got the better of that trade last year when Prince was hurt most of the season, and Kinsler had himself a nice year. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. He chased, and it's 3-2.
And Prince knew he was going to get a fastball there from Verlander in the 3-1 count, and he was committed to swinging at this ball as soon as it left Verlander's hand, and ended up swinging at a ball that was above the letters.
2 on, nobody on. We're in the first, no score. Here's the full count pitch. He lost him, ball 4. 2 on and a man, or 2 out rather, and a man aboard. By the way, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we select the Tigers player of the game courtesy of Fox Sports and McDonald's steak and egg burritos. That's coming up following this one here tonight. So with a runner on, here is Adrian Beltre, who bats in the cleanup spot for the Rangers. Beltre has hit safely in 13 of his last 16 for Texas, and in that stretch over 400. It's a pretty potent middle of the lineup the Rangers feature these days. You got Fielder 3, you got Beltre 4, you got Moreland, who's having a very fine season, batting 5th.
Miguel getting a chuckle out of Verlander trying to pick Prince Fielder off.
Prince about a step off the bag.
Yeah, Verlander threw over.
No balls, 1 strike on Beltre.
I will tell you this much about Prince Fielder. Miguel really needs no help most of the time, but when Prince was backing him up for a couple of years in a Tigers uniform, Miguel Cabrera had one of the 2 best years of his career.
That is popped up. Right side of the infield for Romine, a step to the grass. And that'll be it for the Rangers here in the first. No runs, a walk, and 1 man left. Brings you the scouting report on Colby Lewis. Rod touched on this a little bit earlier. All the surgeries that Lewis has had. He's had 4 major ones, including a hip resurfacing, which was the latest. That's not quite a hip replacement, but man, it's close enough. It's a major surgery.
Yeah, flexor tendon, rotator cuff, Tommy John. Kind of resurrected his career after playing in Japan for a couple of years. Really pitched well over there for 2 seasons, then came back stateside and really went on to have a nice big league career.
He's having a nice year this year. Of course, we talked about all the run support he has gotten this season. That has certainly helped. Over 6 runs a game. 1 ball and 1 strike on Victor Martinez. 11 home runs this year for Victor in an injury-riddled season, but he's been able to play through it. There's the ball high, 2-1.
Victor's picked it up lately. In the last 10 games, Victor has been generating much more bat speed. A better eye at the dish.
Martinez takes a ball high and away. Run the count now to 3-1.
Everything that Lewis is throwing up there appears to be just a shade under the speed limit. And Tigers hitters need to display some patience. Don't look for a lot of fastballs tonight from Colby.
J.D. Martinez waiting on deck. 4, 5, and 6 in the Tigers lineup here in the second. That's fouled away, 3-2.
That's about it as far as the fastball these days for Lewis. 87, 88. Every now and then he'll get up to 89 miles an hour. The weather very kind to us this trip into Arlington, partner. Usually we come here and it's 105 degrees and smoking.
Yeah, that's the benefit of coming here in late September. That's a soft line drive to left field. Going to drop, base hit, and a leadoff single for Victor. Tigers have their first base runner of the ball game.
Can you make that request for next year's schedule that we come here at the end of the season?
I'll do my best.
Yeah, Victor just kind of fought off a a pitch that was right around the belt buckle for a soft single into left field.
We'll bring up J.D. Martinez. J.D. just finished up the homestand in which he had 8 hits. The average at still a solid 283.
He's had a great year. Really no one in the American League hits the ball harder than J.D. Martinez. That's just how good a year he has had. When he barrels it up, it makes a real loud sound coming off his bat.
And with 6 games to go this week, Martinez trying to get to the 100 plateau in RBIs. I have a feeling he's got a pretty good chance of doing that in this series.
A couple good ballparks to hit in on this trip to finish the season for the Tigers. This one, and then, of course, Chicago, U.S. Cellular.
1 ball, 1 strike.
That was a quick pitch there by Kobe Lewis.
In there, a strike called by home plate umpire Bruce Dreckman, and the count is 1-2.
And JD didn't like the call. JD thought it was down. He thought it was low. Didn't look like a bad pitch, though. All 3 pitches to J.D. Martinez has been outside. The 4th one outside as well.
That's going to be a double play ball. 6-4-3. Man, Martinez almost beat it out, but it's in time for the double play. 2 gone.
Ball not hit all that hard right off the end of the bat with J.D. running. Andrews gets it to Odor and able to finish off the double play. It's a nice firm feed by the shortstop, Andrews.
So the Tigers hit into another double play this year. They've hit into a boatload of them. And now here is Castellanos with 2 outs. Nick has been swinging the bat pretty well. In fact, on the homestand, he batted .355 for the Tigers. 15 home runs this year, 72 RBIs, and it looks like he continues to take the next step. Wave and a miss.
Nick still very young. We spent a lot of time this year talking about a lot of the other real young prospects in baseball, and rightfully so. Guys like Brian in Chicago and Lindor in Cleveland, the kid in Houston as well, and a lot of other guys. But sometimes I think we forget Nick's still young too, man. He's just 22 years old himself.
Up and in. Well, he had a really good year, a really good rookie season last year, and he's kind of built on that. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the thing about Castellanos to me as well, Rod, is we all know that right now he's not a Gold Glove third baseman. He has struggled in that respect in terms of the metrics, but offensively he continues to take the next steps. That has not affected him.
No, I agree with that 100%. And the one thing about him as well, too, at third base, it's not because he hasn't worked hard over there. He has spent a lot of time trying to get better at third base.
That ball is going to be run down by Josh Hamilton out in left field. Castellanos hit it hard, but that is out number 3. And we will go to the bottom of the 2nd in Arlington. Penrod was talking about Nick Castellanos and his youth. Well, here's some of the, I guess, next generation of Tigers. A lot of good looking young ball players in the system.
Yeah, most of them we've seen. We have not seen Fulmer yet, but we've seen Norris. We'll see Norris again tomorrow night. And Borey will make his final start on Wednesday. We've seen a lot of Stephen Woy as well. And of course, James McCann and Castellanos round out the list of the next generation.
So here we go. Verlander back to the hill in a scoreless game. Mitch Moreland leads it off for the Rangers. And he takes ball one high.
Moreland has taken that next step. Man, has he had a nice year. 23 homers, 84 driven in, 281 batting average, and he's played very well at first base.
Well, he's been bothered by injuries the last couple of years. In fact, this year as well, but he's been able to bounce back. Moreland has had an ankle problem that forced him to miss most of last year, an elbow problem this season, but through it all, the numbers, you're right, awfully consistent. And there's the shift that they play against Moreland. And Verlander missed that one outside. Now he's run the count to 3 balls, no strikes.
Moreland has had nice numbers against Verlander in his career, a .333 batting average against the Tigers ace.
Josh Hamilton waiting on deck. That's in there, 3-1.
6 for 18 with 6 strikeouts for Moreland against Justin.
Moreland yesterday had his 7-game hitting streak come to an end. Fouled straight back. JV now has already gone to a couple of 3-ball counts in this game.
This is what Verlander has done a lot of lately, and this is one of the reasons why he's been so good. The fastball up in the strike zone at 90 miles an hour looks so inviting to the hitters, especially the left-handers who love the ball down, and very few left-handers can get to this ball up top. It's been a really good pitch for Justin the last couple of months.
Another big rip there by Moreland. 92 on the gun that time.
He went right back upstairs with a fastball top of the strike zone that and Moreland was able to get just a piece of.
Verlander served notice in his last start. He got up to what, 98, 99.
Last 5 pitches of the game that Verlander threw in his last outing. 98, 98, 97, 99, and then 97 again.
Popped him up. Left side, going to be a long run for Machado, who has shifted over, but he'll get there. Nicely done. Dixon had a sprint to that ball. One away, and that'll bring up Josh Hamilton. Hamilton with 3 separate stints on the disabled list this year. He is hitting .252 with 6 homers.
He just came off the disabled list. He had some work done on his knee. Missed about a month on the DL.
Bouncing ball to first. Right there is Miggy.
Nothing's changed about Josh, man. He loves to swing at that first pitch.
2 up, 2 down. And now Elvis Andrus.
Too bad Hamilton is not Josh Harper. Bryce Harper. He'd have got in trouble for jogging down the line right there.
We have a fight right now in the Rangers dugout. Well, I'm not sure who'd want to take on Josh. He's a pretty big boy.
He is a big boy.
Here's Elvis Andrus.
Elvis Andrus is using a Josh Hamilton bat these days that is 35 inches and 33 ounces. And since he went to that big bat, which is a big bat, he has really started to hit the ball, started to drive the ball too.
Now, what would be the advantages for Andrus, a guy his size, to use a bat that big?
I don't know. I guess he feels like he's strong enough to get the bat through the strike zone. He does choke up a hair on it, which makes it a little bit lighter, as you can see. So he has 35 in his hand, but he chokes up about an inch. So that basically makes it a 34-inch bat, Mario. But the heavier bat that you use, the more compressed the wood is. Therefore, the wood is harder. Therefore, the ball travels further. And then when your name is Josh Hamilton, you usually get better wood than some of the other guys. So that's one of the reasons why he has started to use that bat.
Verlander now with the 1-1.
It's really unheard of these days for guys that use 35-inch bats. Most guys are 34, 32, 34-31. Guys like lighter bats these days.
We've talked about this a lot, but how big was Willie's bat? Willie Horton?
Oh, Willie about 38 ounces.
38, right?
About 38 ounces, man.
Imagine that. In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Andrews going through it a bit right now, just 2 for his last 15. Occasional power, 7 homers this year. He will steal a bag as well if he gets on.
They say that he is playing some of the best overall baseball right now for Texas that he has played since putting on their uniform.
Bouncer back up the middle. It's going to find a hole into center field. First base hit of the ball game for Texas.
And now you have to pay attention to Andrews because he does have 21 steals. He's been caught 8 times this season. Little breaking ball just stayed up long enough for Andrews to hit the ball right back through the middle.
Here is Rougned Odor. He has shown power this year. 15 home runs for Odor.
And he opened up the season as their everyday second baseman, and he was struggling so mightily into the month of May. They had to send him down to the minors for a month. He has come back to the big leagues, and he has really stabilized the second base position for Texas.
I would say so. In fact, Odor, since coming up, has hit better than 300. 305 to be exact. Meanwhile, Verlander keeping a very close eye on Andrews.
Verlander has a quick move. Since he has come to the major leagues back in 2006, only a couple of right-handed pitchers have more pickoffs than Verlander. And James Shields, and the other one would be A.J. Burnett.
That is popped up. Left side of the infield. Castellanos straddling the line in foul ground. And that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire.
Mario, yesterday Bryce Harper popped out to left field, and there was Jonathan Papelbon waiting on him in the dugout.
Well, here's what I got on this, and you know, if you want to call a teammate out, I'm not sure that's the best possible spot. The other thing, you know, I agree, probably should have run hard on that ball, but you know, how many times did Papelbon call David Ortiz out in Boston?
He never called David Ortiz out, but that was a spillover from a couple of days ago when Papelbon hit Machado of the Baltimore Orioles, and then after the game, basically Bryce Harper called out Papelbon for hitting Machado for hitting a home run. So that was brewing for me. That was something that was premeditated, that at some point in time Papelbon had in his mind that he was going to check the youngster.
And that's fine, but don't you think that should probably take place in the clubhouse?
Oh, no question about that. There's no doubt about that.
Well, here's James McCann to start things off.
And the Papelbon's going to miss the remainder of the season because he was fined a 3-game suspension for hitting Machado, and then the Washington Nationals, they suspended him for the other 4 games of the year. So he's probably worn the Washington Nationals uniform for the last time.
Yeah, it'd be shocking if he has not, but here's what's going on in the East, and I'm sure there's a lot of frustration with the Nationals 9 games back.
No question about that. They have had a bad year.
James McCann with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, and Colby Lewis has his 2nd strikeout of the game. 1 away here in the 3rd. That'll bring up Andrew Romine. Romine is playing 2nd base in this game today. We mentioned Kinsler is getting the night off tonight here in Texas.
Yeah, well-deserved night off for Ian Kinsler, who basically plays every day and has had another really nice season. It's been 8 years playing for these Texas Rangers, making all-star teams, playing in a couple of World Series, hitting a lot of home runs.
Here's the 0-1. Romine shoots it, and right by the 2nd baseman Odor into right field. Looked like Rugnan might be able to get there, but it slid right by him. 2nd
base hit of the night so far for the Tigers. Neither hit very hard. Victor's bloop single to left field last half inning. Not hit very hard.
It'll bring up Dixon Machado. Tigers have their 2nd hit of the ball game. Machado getting the start at short. Tigers still without Jose Iglesias, who, by the way, is available to pinch run if needed the rest of the way, but will not hit. And Machado looks at a strike. So in the meantime, the Tigers get a good long look here at Mr. Machado, who's been one of their better defensive prospects in the minor leagues.
Yeah, they know he can defend at shortstop. There's no doubt about that. There's never been a question about his glove. And the bat has started to come the last couple of years as he's matured and gotten stronger.
Line drive, base hit out of the reach of Elvis Andrus into left. And the bottom 2 in the Tigers lineup with base hits. 2 on 1 out.
Well, it went off the tip of the glove.
So 2 balls that came extremely close to being caught. Instead, the Tigers have 2 runners on.
If you're Anthony Ghost, you have to be very patient in this particular at-bat. Against Colby Lewis, he's not going to try to overpower you with lots of fastballs. He's going to try to fade the changeup away from you. He's also going to throw you some sliders. Your approach simply should be trying to hit the ball up the middle or the other way to make sure you stay on the baseball against a guy that's throwing so many breaking balls through the first 2 innings of the contest.
Anthony hit the first pitch to the first baseman his first time up. Shows bunt.
And first pitch slider.
Ghost on that last homestand had a string of 16 consecutive games in which he reached base come to an end.
He's getting a lot of base on balls too. He's displaying a real nice eye. Very patient.
He pretty much, Rod, for the 2nd half of the season has been an everyday center fielder, but going into 2016, do you see Anthony as a guy that's made enough strides to begin the year as the starter?
I think so. It's hard to go out and find another quality shortstop. I mean, center fielder like Anthony Ghost. He covers a lot of ground out there. I know there's been some question about the routes that he takes, but he makes up for those bad routes on occasion with his outstanding speed. He's played more this year than any other year. A career high on homers and RBIs. The on-base percentage could be a little bit better. But I think Anthony Ghost has done enough to be the starting center fielder in 2016.
There go the runners. Here's the throw to third. Not in time. It's a double steal and a big break at second by Romine.
Great instincts by Andrew Romine, who has stolen third base quite a bit this year. And Lewis had forgotten all about him. He got a huge secondary lead and was able to steal that base rather easily. Also, really nice job by Machado there had to be some kind of a sign given to Machado that Romine was going to try to steal, so he took off as well, and now he finds himself into scoring position.
And now the Tigers in pretty good shape here with runners at second and third, 1 out.
We just played the Minnesota Twins, and they stole third base twice in the series with a runner on first base, and that guy on first base did not run either time.
Infield coming in now for the Rangers. 3 balls and 1 strike to count on Ghosts. Rangers have been a tough bunch here in Arlington. In fact, they've won 23 of their last 30 at home. Swing and a miss. 3-2.
There's that slide piece. Anthony Ghost swung right over the top of it. And more than likely, you're going to get another one here. That's how confident Kobe Lewis has been in that slider his last 4 or 5 starts.
That is a foul ball, and down at third base, Romine hit the deck. It came slicing right by him at third. 3-2 on Ghosts. Whoa, that was closer than I thought. Swing and a miss. Anthony goes down, and well, you called that pitch, and there are 2 away. It's the third strikeout now for Lewis.
It's exactly what Tyler Collins is going to get as well. It's his go-to pitch, and Tigers do know that. They've been given the scouting report on Lewis. This is the first time they've seen Lewis since he started throwing this many breaking balls. So
there's so much depth on that pitch. On the inside part of the plate, and now Tyler Collins, who bounced out his first time up. The Rangers now can push the defense back with 2 outs.
And they are shifting on Collins to the pull side. Andrews, the shortstop, he's basically directly behind the second base bag.
With nobody out, or nobody on, I should say, in Collins' first at bat, they had the second baseman Odor way out there in short right field.
And here's Andrews here. He's directly behind second base. I guess Collins has started to pile up enough data that shows the opposition that when he does hit the ball on the ground, it's to the pull field.
Yeah, good call, because we really haven't seen anybody play Tyler this much to the right side of the infield. And obviously with most teams there are certain thresholds that once you reach a certain amount of at-bats, then I guess they can call that a trend.
And they also know the trend of Lewis these days, throwing so many breaking balls. It's very hard for a lot of guys to stay back on that breaking ball because it's so slow. And so a lot of guys have been pulling the ball.
Blocked at home plate by Jimenez. 1-2 on Tyler, who bounced out to the shortstop his first time up. Lewis would rather take care of Collins here than face Cabrera, who is waiting on deck. "36 years old, Colby Lewis, out of Bakersfield, California." The 1-2. Grounded foul again, as one more time Collins hits it down the first base line.
I've said this a couple of times, and I don't want to be mean about it, but Bakersfield, one of them towns, just keep on driving through.
Every time I bring it up, man, you're always cold to Bakersfield.
You got to keep on rolling through Bakersfield.
Well, you and Dwight Yoakam. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Long inning here for Lewis now. 20th pitch coming up. And here it is. Oh, we hit him. Collins is drilled, and that will load the bases.
What a mistake there by Kobe Lewis, who has hit a lot of batters this year. That's the 11th guy he has hit this year, and that is the absolute last thing he wanted to do was hit Collins with Miggy coming to the plate. It's a fastball. He's trying to get in on side and just misses poorly with his control, and he hits Collins right in the square of the bat.
And he had 2 strikes on him, and now the bases are full for Miguel Cabrera.
He's not going to fool Miguel with that breaking ball that he fooled Miggy with the first time up. He started Miggy off in his first at-bat with a first pitch strike fastball, and then went to breaking balls to finish him off. I don't think that slider is going to work again against Miggy. Miggy makes adjustments very well.
365 this year with runners in scoring position for Cabrera. And he'll take ball 1.
Miggy swung at that pitch right there his first time up.
He struck him out in the first. 333 lifetime against Lewis, 4 doubles. Bases loaded with Tigers. Swing and a miss. Couldn't hold up.
If you weren't with us the first time Miggy came up today, we gave you his overall numbers in his career against the Texas Rangers. The batting average is nearly 400. And he's driven in 67 runs in 70 games.
Fouled away, and now Lewis has gone 1-2 against the Tiger slugger. So again, Lewis has come within a strike of getting out of this mess here in the third. Cabrera had 3 doubles the last time he faced the Rangers. 2 of them came against Lewis. It was back on August 21st at Comerica Park.
73% of the 47 pitches that Lewis has thrown already tonight, 73% have been off-speed pitches.
Oh, a number off the end of the bat, but foul, and Cabrera still barely alive.
And that percentage just went up a tick.
This next one that Lewis throws will be pitch number 25 in this inning.
Miggy talking to himself. Stay back. Stay back. I could read his lips. He's had a tough time staying back. We'll see if he's able to stay back. He stayed back.
Yeah, he did.
He stayed back.
And it just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He had to remind himself to stay back. Every pitch that he's thrown him in this pitch sequence has been a breaking ball.
Victor Martinez on deck. Tigers loaded the bases with a couple of singles, double steal on the hit batter. Lewis about to throw his 50th pitch of this start. Low again. Cabrera watches it sail by, and now it's full 3-2. It's about as tough a spot as you can get if you're a big league pitcher. Bases loaded, 3-2 count on Cabrera.
I don't know exactly what Lewis will do here against Miguel, but his best option might be going to a fastball inside. Miggy's seen everything outside. If there was ever a time where you might be able to catch Miggy looking away, it might be now, but we'll see what Lewis wants to do.
Walked in, ball 4. That will force in a run. Cabrera will get an RBI.
Really good at bat by Miggy, just laying off all those breaking balls that he swung at his first time up to get an RBI to get the Tigers on the board.
Everybody moves up 90 feet, and for Cabrera it's RBI 74, 1-0 Tigers. And now just to get a blow, here comes Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, out. They're still loaded with 2 outs. Cabrera forcing in a run, and now it's not going to get a whole lot easier. Victor Martinez will come strolling in. By the way, deposits are now being accepted for 2016 Tigers full and partial season ticket plans. Call 313-471-BALL today or visit Tigers.com. Get a head start on 2016. Here's Victor. And Colby Lewis is anything but out of this jam. Martinez singled in the second, but later was erased on a double play by JD. And that's in for a strike. 0-1. Colby Lewis has been first pitch strikes on 8 of 13. But this has been a very lengthy inning, which has really pushed his pitch count up. And Martinez takes high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's his 7th man to bat in the inning. And this whole rally was started by the bottom of the Tigers lineup. Singles by Romine and Machado. Here is the 30th pitch for Lewis in this inning. Drilled to center field. And it's going to be caught by the Shields to end the inning. Tigers settle for 1 run. They leave them loaded. We go to the bottom of the 3rd.
Here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. How does your town feel about that team?
Well, first of all, they have a lot of respect for the Texas Rangers, and they're excited about what they're doing, being in first place in the West. But, John, I have to be quite honest with you. This is Cowboy Nation. These guys are feeling the pain of losing a Tony Romo, a Dez Bryant, and then losing to the Atlanta Falcons on yesterday. So we need something to cheer about here in Texas. So I'm sure they'll have some big Ranger fans out here tonight.
All right, the Tigers could have something to say about what kind of a week it is for the hometown Rangers. Mario, Ryan?
All right, guys, thanks very much. Well, it is 1-0 in favor of the Tigers over these Texas Rangers as they will come to the plate here in the 3rd. They have Jimenez, then Shields, and Shin-Soo Choo. Tigers got a run on the bases loaded walk to Miguel Cabrera, but Colby Lewis able to wiggle out of the rest of the jam, leaving him loaded. Jimenez at 264. And JV missed it up high.
And meanwhile, Verlander has looked as good here tonight for the first couple of frames as he has looked for the last couple of calendar months. And that firm fastball's gotten up to 93 miles an hour. Good breaking ball, thrown a couple of sliders.
Here's the 1-1. Jimenez has hit safely in 5 of his last 6, getting the call behind the dish tonight for the Rangers, who have already 17 more wins than they had all of last year. That's how much of a turnaround not only has the second half been, but from last year's team as well. Bouncing ball left side, gobbled up there by Castellanos. 1 away, time for a game break now with Justin White. All right, J-Dub, thanks. That is a huge series for those two teams.
It's a 4-game series as well.
Minnesota coming to the Motor City, grabbing a couple of wins, and now heading to Cleveland. Their final week this week will be huge to see if they're able to sneak into postseason.
One of the things that's really helped Minnesota, the last couple of road trips, they played much better on the road. They got off to a horrible road start. Their record is still under 500 on the road, but they've played better lately, and that's why they've stayed in the race.
DeShields again showing bunt, 2-0.
He has 11 bunt base hits already this season, so bunting is pretty much a part of his game. And when he gets the ball down, he has such great speed running from that side out of the batter's box that very few times has he been thrown out when he's attempted to bunt for a hit.
And nobody has more bunt hits in the American League than DeShields. The 2-0 pitch. Chu waiting on deck.
No doubt DeShields will be taking here 3-0, and he might even be taking 3-1 if Verlander can throw this ball over the heart of the plate.
He does. Waiting on deck is Chu. Rangers' only hit in this game was a single by Andrews in the second. That came with 2 outs. We'll swing away in the 3-1 and sky it to shallow center field. Anthony Ghost coming in to save the day. 2 gone. Burst in advantage time now as we bring you pitcher batter matchup. And Shin-Soo Choo, 23 career strikeouts against Justin Verlander. Gordon, Cabrera, Swisher, the only 3 that have had more.
Not a coincidence that most of the guys on that list playing the American League Central or have spent quite a bit of time in the American League Central, going up against Justin Verlander. Chu, of course, he was playing for the Indians for a few years. And that's when Justin was right in the prime of his career. Well, he's in the prime of his career now, I would say, as well. But this is when he was just absolutely dominant as a pitcher.
Yeah, you're talking about 2011 dominant. Cy Young MVP. Chu looks at a strike on the outer edge, 1-1.
Chu really took off after the All-Star break, and he tells the story about his wife. Really getting on him, telling him to relax and go out and play and stop trying to live up to the huge contract that you signed. Stop trying to carry the entire South Korean nation on your shoulders. And he has really perked up since his wife kind of chewed him out, I guess.
Chewed him out? I see what you did there. Chewed him out?
I didn't see you too quick. But he told that story. He said that, it just kind of helped him relax because he was trying to do too much.
Well, here you go.
To live up to that contract.
350 in the second half for Shin-Soo.
They say the spouses know best.
Yes, they do. Always remember that. And that is fouled back out of play. 1-2, the count stays on Chu.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yes, indeed. Chu hit his 20th home run on Saturday. It's now 4 seasons in which he's had at least 20. Verlander in search of the 1-2-3 third.
Would you say that Chu was kind of one of the first guys to be given one of those huge contracts kind of based on his WAR numbers, though? Because he was in Cincinnati. He had a good year, but it was his on-base percentage and the runs that he scored and some of the other intangible numbers that led this particular team to give him that much money.
Yeah, I would go with that. I would agree with that. A 7-year deal, as a matter of fact. That was after the 13 season. And he was considered a really good two-way player, but the on-base percentage.
He had never made an all-star team. Never really finished in the top 10 in MVP voting or any of that kind of stuff, but yet he was able to get that kind of contract.
2-2. Prince Fielder waiting on deck. Chu swings and misses. Couldn't hold up. Strike 3. Verlander has himself a 1-2-3 third. We head to the 4th in Arlington. Top of the fourth. Got some stars out here at the ballpark tonight, Raj.
How about that? Tony Romo, who is hurt right now with what they say, something wrong with his clavicle?
Yeah, broken clavicle.
How about Matthew McConaughey? All right.
They're hanging out in row one. That's no surprise.
They got some nice seats, too.
Yeah, McConaughey's got the lid going tonight, trying to travel incognito. Here's Lewis back to the hill now as we go to the fourth inning. Tigers up by a run. J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos, James McCann. 1 run on 3 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 1 hit for the Rangers. It was Martinez that knocked into a 6-4-3 double play back in the second. And now 3 for 7 in his career against Lewis, but he does have a homer against him. 2-1. Lewis needs to complete this fourth inning here tonight to crack 200 innings for the season, and that would really be awfully good considering all the surgeries, and we talked about it, that he has gone through. There's a ball down low.
Not only the surgeries, Mario, but where would they be this year without him? I mean, because Darvish went down in spring training. He's lost for the season. Holland, their talented left-hander, they just got him back. The 17 wins have been marvelous this year for Texas.
The ball's hit a mile high, but not deep enough, and the right fielder Chu hauls it in. 1 gone. That's a really good point. I mean, you talk about the fact that he's gotten a lot of run support, but still he has kept his team in ball games, and he's won 17 of them. Here's Nick Castellanos. Flat out to left field in his first at bat. Hit the ball hard. It was run down by Hamilton. Again toward left field. Hamilton is on the move, but it's going to drop. Base hit. 1 out single for Nick.
And the Tigers have 4 hits, and really none of the 4 hit all that hard. I guess Dixon Machado's line drive off the tip of the glove of the shortstop. Elvis Andrews, probably the hardest ball hit so far here tonight off Lewis. And that's a ball that's off the plate that Nix hits down on the label, but still able to get himself a base hit.
Tigers have 4 hits now. Here's McCann.
And James McCann also had the afternoon off yesterday. Alex Avila caught final home game.
Ball hit well to center field. Shields on the move. He'll go to the gap to run it down.
He's got a lot of speed in center field. He's also played quite a bit of left. To Shields.
We'll bring up Romine. And it was Andrew that got the rally started in the third. A 1-out single. Then the Tigers had the double steal going as well. They put 2 men in scoring position. Eventually Cabrera, bases loaded, walk, scored a run. Ball 1 missing outside. Andrew had 4 hits on the homestand, missed a couple of games with that groin problem, but he's back in there tonight. Time of the year, of course, with expanded rosters, the Tigers have plenty of backup help in the middle infield with the injury to Iglesias. They've been able to absorb that.
And as you mentioned earlier, it's given a Machado and some nice reps. Romine's gotten a chance to play down the stretch.
Flared toward left field. Hamilton on the run. He'll make the catch. 1 step into fair territory to retire the side. A 10-pitch inning for Colby Lewis.
On Saturday, even for a guy who's had all his success, how important are these starts looking to 2016?
John, I think these are huge outings for Justin Verlander, simply fact because now he's healthy and he's starting to pitch back to form. I think it's going to be important for him to finish the season on a high note. And his nature, you know his nature, he wants to be the best, so this will be good for him down the stretch.
All right, and he's found some zip. We'll see if that's hanging around late. Mario, Ron?
All right, Keith, thanks. Here are the numbers on Verlander so far. 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs. He has struck out 1 and walked 1. And JV back to the hill facing Prince Fielder, Adrian Beltre, Mitch Moreland here in the home part of the 4th inning. Drilled to right field on a line. That ball is hit hard. It is hooking. It is over the wall and a line drive home run for Prince Fielder. First pitch of the inning, and he put a clothesline on that one and drilled it right to that corner down the right field line. Number 23 for Fielder.
Looked like a breaking ball that was just spinning up there on the inner third of home plate, and Prince Fielder just absolutely turned on it, and that ball got out of the yard in a hurry into the second row.
There's a drive to center field. Ghost will play it on 1 hop, and on consecutive pitches, the Rangers now have a couple of hits.
Well, it's already time now for Justin Verlander to make an adjustment. You've watched Prince Fielder jump on the first pitch. You've also watched Adrian Beltre jump on the first pitch. They obviously know what you did to them the first time through the order. Now you have to make an adjustment. That was the hit speed on the Prince Fielder solo shot.
And it went 364 feet on a line to right field.
In a hurry.
Tied at 1 now as Mitch Moreland stands in. And suddenly the Rangers' bats have come alive. Moreland popped up in his only trip so far. In there, strike 1 on Mitch Moreland. Now Castellanos will head to the opposite side as they leave the left side of the infield wide open. Moreland 16 RBIs in his last 17 ball games for Texas. Strike called, and now 0-2.
And curveball at 78 miles an hour. Moreland didn't like the call.
A couple of words there for Bruce Dreckman. Verlander in his career in Arlington has an ERA of 3.52. That's pretty good in this ballpark.
No doubt about that.
Justin is also 3-1 here in Arlington with that 3.52. He's been touched up by the home run from Prince Fielder.
Now here's the main reason why they're shifting Moreland the way that they are. And with Romine and also Machado. Romine and Castellanos on the right side of the infield. And hopefully he hits one right into the teeth of their defense. It's a quiet crowd.
Low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Justin coming off that performance against the White Sox. He took a victory in that game, 7-4 win. He gave up 3 runs in 7 innings through 112 pitches. And he has gone at least 100 in every start this year, but 2 of them. Actually, 3 of them if you count his first start, which he went just 5 innings.
Which is an indication that he is finally healthy after, the beginning of last spring training. When Verlander came to spring training in 2014, he had just undergone core surgery. And your core is so important. And he came back too early and just really never got on track last season. And that surgery to the core usually takes about a year to really allow you to get back to full strength.
Taken outside to level the count at 2-2. Well, Verlander has certainly rolled up a lot of big numbers in his career with the Tigers. Currently 3rd all-time in strikeouts behind Lolich and Morris. Another throw back to the bag at first.
Moreland, for the most part, does not hit the ball on the ground all that often. Much more of a fly ball hitter. He's grounded into 9 in double plays, which is not all that many. Verlander is pitching Moreland the same exact way that he pitched him his first time up. A lot of fastballs up in the strike zone.
Two and 2 on Moreland. Justin now is 8th all-time in the Tigers list in wins with 156. Next up is Dizzy Trout. He is 7th with 161 wins. And another toss to the bag at first base. Wide open on the left side of the infield for Moreland if he goes the other way. He'll take inside, and now the count fills at 3-2.
And more than likely, Beltre will be on the move here, 3-2. But then again, I told you that Moreland very seldom hits the ball on the ground, so maybe Jeff Bannister, the manager of the Texas Rangers, might be more concerned with him striking out than hitting into a double play. But we'll see.
Runner going. Ground ball right side. It'll find a hole. Even against the shift. Beltre will go to 3rd. He's in there safely. And Moreland finds a spot to the right side that was unoccupied. 3 straight hits for the Rangers.
And runner on the move, ball hit on the ground, right between Castellanos and Andrew Romine. Beltre, because he was on the move, was able to pick up exactly where the ball was and was able to get over to 3rd base, really without the help of his 3rd base coach, Tony Beasley.
So now with men at 1st and 3rd and nobody out, Josh Hamilton will stand in.
And if you're Justin Verlander, you know pretty much beyond a shadow of doubt that Josh Hamilton's going to be swinging at the first pitch. That has pretty much been his MO since he has been in the big leagues.
Well, it's what he did in his first at-bat. He grounded out to Cabrera on the first pitch back in the 2nd. Tigers want 2 up the middle. 1-1 ball game. Each team now with 4 hits. Hamilton drives one to right field, but foul.
Yeah, Verlander threw him a changeup. It was a straight changeup. He knew that Hamilton would be swinging, and Verlander got the exact result that he was looking for. Either a swing through the pitch or a ball hit sharply in the foul territory.
The 0-1.
.94 miles an hour. That's the best fastball that I can remember Justin throwing so far here today.
Hamilton began his career with Cincinnati, but most of his damage done in a Rangers uniform in his first tour of duty here. 5 seasons worth. Backs him out of there. 5 All-Star games with Texas.
And won an MVP too.
Yeah, he beat out Miguel Cabrera. That was back in 2010. Here are the career numbers for Hamilton with the Rangers. High, 3 balls and 1 strike.
It's been well documented, all the issues that Josh Hamilton has had off the field with some substance abuses. But this is where he feels like he is most at home. This is where he has a tremendous support group, and that's why they've invited him back here 3 different times.
He parted ways with the Angels back in April.
And the Angels are basically paying a salary.
That is rolled foul just outside of the bag.
They basically gave Hamilton to the Rangers. Tough hop down there for the ball girl. She got on her heels, Mario. She let the ball play her.
I didn't see it. Here she is.
Yeah, he got to have some fun. Here you go.
What do you got?
Well, she got on her heels and then she just let it play. She couldn't get it down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't run from it, though.
No, she didn't.
Outside, and Hamilton gets a walk, and now it's really becoming messy here. The bases are loaded, nobody out.
That is rare. Hamilton very seldom ever walks.
It's going to bring Jeff Jones out. That'll be the 2nd walk issued by JV in this game. Well, Saturday, the postseason races are coming down to the wire, starting on Fox with a battle for control of the National League wild card between the Pirates and Cubs. Then the Brewers take on the NL Central leading Cardinals in a game you can see only on FS1. Coverage starts Saturday at 12:30 p.m. on Fox and continues at 6:30 p.m. on FS1. Final week of the season is upon us. Tigers have 3 here and then 3 in Chicago, and that's it. Well, here is Elvis Andrus with the bases loaded. Nobody out. Andrus had a single in the 2nd inning, 1 for 1.
I wonder why Castellanos is playing in so close in this particular situation. I don't think that Elvis would be up there bunting. You've got nobody out. You got the bases loaded. And now he's backing up a little bit. So it's a nice job there by Omar Vizquel, noticing how shallow he was playing.
Ground ball foul, look out. That one almost took Beltre out. He had to dance out of the way of that one.
Look at the look that Beltre gives to him afterwards. He didn't like it very much.
Little shoulder shrug. 1 ball, 1 strike on Elvis Andrus. Popped him up. Shallow right center field. Romine, tough play, and the runners will hold. Romine on his heels, quickly got it back in.
Kind of surprised that Beltre didn't get back and maybe attempt to tag up, but with nobody out, I guess it's a risky play. But we saw a play the other day where Ian Kinsler was only about 4 or 5 feet into the grass, and the base runner at third was able to tag up Rosario of the Minnesota Twins and score. Now, there is no doubt that Beltre, had he gone back to the bag, he would have been able to tag up and score here because Romine was off balance. But it's also a play, too, because it's tricky. If that ball falls in and you're at that bag tagging up, you might not score. So it's a really tricky play.
Yeah, that one, it seemed to be somewhat in doubt as opposed to the one against Minnesota, which looked like it was going to be caught all the way. That one could have easily fallen between Romine and Martinez.
How about that last play right there, too, between Romine and JD Martinez, that little collision in the outfield. That's the same thing that landed Troy Tulowitzki on the disabled list.
No balls, 1 strike on Rougned Odor.
A play just like that.
Did JD just not get there in time to call him off, do you think?
I thought JD could have called him off, but Romine had to run so far and that he just simply made the play. But I think JD could have called him off and made that play a lot easier than Romine made it.
Swing and a miss by Odor, and now Verlander's starting slowly to pitch himself out of this jam.
Here's the play here with Romine and JD Martinez. JD was running hard. But I still think had he called it, he would have been able to catch it.
Swing and a miss. He got him to chase up and out of the zone, and Verlander with the big strikeouts. Odor is dusted, 2 away.
One more big out to get. There's that fastball upstairs. And the one that Verlander has been using by design quite often. And he continues to throw harder here in this game. He's up to 95 now, as far as the velocity is concerned.
So now here is Jimenez, the number 9 hitter. Oh, no, it's a strike called. Upper reaches of the strike zone. 0-1 on Jimenez. Home run by Fielder started the inning, then 2 singles and a walk loaded the bases. This will be JV's 70th pitch of this ball game coming up. 70. Slapped out of play, and now quickly 0-2.
Here's our high-speed pitch, and it is brought to you by Xfinity. And Verlander has thrown a fastball at 94, 95, and now 96 in this inning alone. It's kind of reminiscent of 5 days ago, partner. Runners in scoring position. He reached back to get 98, 99.
Yeah, this time just a little bit earlier in the game. We thought he had strike 3 there on Jimenez. Didn't get the call. 1-2.
Well, he might just reach back and get 97 here. Jeff Jones will return as the pitching coach for the Tigers. The entire staff is coming back. They made that announcement just a couple of days ago. Of course, Brad coming back as well for his 3rd season as a manager.
Kept hearing that one word, continuity, which is what Brad will be able to keep with his staff returning.
Tigers have had a lot of injuries this year. Verlander missed time. Sanchez missed some time. Shane Green missed time. Victor missed some time. Miggy missed some time.
Ball high, and the count now 2-2. Top of the order waiting on deck, the Shields. They have sent 7 men to the plate here in the 4th. They've got them loaded. That'll get back out of play.
The one thing that Verlander has always had, even though he can reach back to get 95 and above, he's always had that real nice, smooth, easy delivery. And the ball just explodes out of his hand.
Low. And now Verlander has no choice but to throw a strike. 3-2.
After back-to-back fastballs in the mid-90s to Jimenez, he comes back with a breaking ball that Jimenez is able to lay off of.
Look at the crowd to its feet now. 29th pitch of this at-bat coming up, or this inning, I should say, for Justin. Three and 2 on Chris Jimenez, the number 9 hitter with the bases loaded. And he got him, strike 3. Verlander struck him out looking. And the Rangers leave him loaded. But they tie it up on the Prince Fielder home run. 4 in the books in Arlington. brought to you by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Globe Life Park here in Arlington, Texas. The Tigers and the Rangers still knotted at 1. Rangers tied up with a home run by Prince Fielder. There's a ball high to Dixon Machado, who starts it off.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Justin Verlander getting out of the bottom of the 4th, hitting with the bases loaded and nobody out. A pop-up and a couple of strikeouts.
Machado looks at one in there for a strike, 1-1. It did take a toll on his pitch count, though. Verlander has watched it rise with that inning of nearly 30 pitches. There's a strike called on Machado. The count is 1-2. Colby Lewis had a 30-pitch third and rebounded with a 10-pitch fourth. Off the end of the bat, that'll go foul. Lewis allowed a bases loaded walk in the third to Miguel Cabrera, but then he got Victor Martinez to fly to center. So both teams have left him loaded in this game. Lewis came in having pitched some of his best baseball recently. In fact, he's won his last 3 starts, allowing just 4 runs in 21 innings. But he's now thrown his 70th of the night, or about to. And it's lined to center field, and Machado has himself his 2nd hit.
What a beautiful piece of hitting there by the youngster Dixon Machado. I mean, he really stayed on this breaking ball a long time and kept his bat in the strike zone a very long time, and able to lace this ball right back up the middle. Look at his back foot, totally off the ground. His back foot.
Just swatted that thing back up the middle.
Yeah, he did.
Here's Anthony Gose.
He's being crowded at third base by Beltre. Beltre anticipating a possible bunt from Gose, who pretty much has been showing bunt at least once a game the last couple of weeks. And they're not necessarily sacrifice bunts. He's been bunting for base hits, or at least attempting to bunt for base hits. But you better keep it away from Beltre or make sure the ball stops before it gets to him down at third base. He's a Gold Glove defender down there.
Tigers now have their 5th hit of the ball game, 4 for Texas. Tigers got 1 in the 3rd, and the Rangers answer with a run in the 4th. In there for a strikeout goes. Anthony in search of his first hit tonight. Strikeout, ground out. A little bit high outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lewis and Verlander hooked up the last time they met on August 21st at Comerica Park, and Colby in that game went 7, giving up 6 hits, no runs. Been really good at home this year, 8-2 in Arlington. Missed away again. 2-1. Here you go. The comparison between Verlander and Lewis in that game. Number is pretty close, with the exception of the strikeouts for JV. Swing and a miss. Anthony went up out of the strike zone.
Anthony upset with himself. He had done so well to get himself into that really good 2-1 count. Then you leave the strike zone and you help the pitcher out. Colby Lewis has thrown 75% off speed pitches today. Of the 74 total pitches he's thrown, which is a very high total.
He's going to go full now, 3-2.
I would expect that Brad will start the runner here. 3-2 count, 1-1 game in the 5th. Kobe not necessarily a strikeout pitcher.
Well, Lewis in this game already now with 4 full counts. Runner does not go. Line drive, base hit, left center field. Machado hits the bag at second. He's coming to third. Throw coming back into second base, not in time. And the Tigers have runners at second and third with nobody out. 2-base hit for Anthony Gose.
Machado took a couple of hard steps off first base, then stopped, then started again. The ball laced over the head of Andrews, the shortstop, into the left center field gap. And even though DeShields is very fast in center field, by the time DeShields was able to get over there and get the ball back into second, Anthony Gose was sliding into second base with a hustling double.
So the Rangers again will be forced to pull the infield in here. Well, now they're backing up. He hit the corners back up the middle as Tyler Collins stands in. And Collins drills one down the right field line. Is it going to stay fair? It is. And that is a home run for Tyler Collins. A line drive shot to right. And the Tigers have taken the lead on the 4th home run of the year for Collins. Just about the same spot that Prince hit his.
A hanging breaking ball here thrown by Kobe Lewis that got down into the happy zone of Tyler Collins, and he just dropped a barrel of the bat on it. He must have went up there looking for a breaking ball because his swing was perfect. He had great balance throughout his swing looking for that breaking ball. I mean, when you throw as many breaking balls as Lewis has thrown here tonight, sooner or later somebody was bound to sit on one.
It stands to reason, and Collins now in his last 2 games. How about this? He's 4 for 6 with a couple of doubles and now a homer. And the Tigers are up 4-1. Cabrera takes the ball outside. That home run was estimated at 350 feet on the laser to right field. Still nobody out in this 5th inning. Anthony Bass now is starting to warm up in the bullpen for the Rangers. There's a strike, and now the count will go 3-2. In the air to right field. Sliding play out there by Shin-Soo Choo. It's the first out of the inning.
And Choo playing Mickey deep in right field, respecting his power. And we got a pretty good jump on this particular line drive and had to leave his feet to complete the play.
Here's Victor Martinez. Victor drives one foul the other way. 4 runs on 7 Tigers hits, and the Rangers now will run on 4 hits. And the slide in for a strike. Victor fly out and a single. One ball, two strikes. Martinez. Rolled foul. 1-2. The count stays. And again, it was the bottom of the lineup that got it started for the Tigers. Number 9 hitter Machado with a single, and then the ghost double and a Collins homer. These two teams met in a 4-game series in Detroit back in August, and Texas won 3 out of the 4. High and away. 2-2. There's Martinez waiting on deck. Almost hit him. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Victor. So Lewis now starting to move in toward 100. He's at 90 coming up here. 90th pitch. Rolled foul. You know, I always wonder, Rod, when you come to Texas, and of course we've come here late this year. Game time temp was in the upper 80s, but still, when you come here in the middle of the summer, I mean, it's 100 degrees, and how this Rangers team year after year is able to fight through the heat and stay fresh for September.
It's always a difficult proposition for whoever the manager is at making sure that you can try to keep your players fresh.
There's a base hit to right field.
I know Ron Washington, when he was here, he would stagger the batting times where only the players that were hitting would come out and hit and then go back inside. The next group would come out of the clubhouse and they would come out and hit. They allowed them to wear shorts here during batting practice, and then some days they simply hit inside when it gets too hot. There's their new manager, Jeff Bannister, who's going to get some serious consideration for manager of the year this year in his first tour of duty as a skipper in the big leagues. Long-time minor leaguer, two-man in Pittsburgh. This guy paid his dues.
Here is J.D. Martinez. There's strike 1 on J.D. 1 on, 1 out, and the Tigers have scored 3. Well, Bannister certainly will get some votes. A.J. Hinch, I think, will get votes.
Paul Molitor as well.
0-2. Keep in mind, Colby Lewis came in on a roll into this start here, but he's about to have his second inning in which he's thrown 30 or more pitches. Swing and a miss. J.D. went fishing.
J.D. just cannot pick up that breaking ball out of the hand of Lewis here this evening.
Fourth strikeout. Here's Nick Castellanos. Frustrating night so far for J.D. Martinez. Nick drives one in the air toward left center field. That ball is hit well. Hamilton going back. He looks up. It's against 390 on the wall. Victor is on his way to third. He'll stop there, and Castellanos with a long double, his second hit tonight.
Anybody running but Victor Martinez there, and Castellanos gets himself another RBI, but Victor not running well these days, not able to score. Now Kevin Rand and also Brad Ausmus going to go out and check on the Tigers' designated hitter.
Yeah, Victor just did not look good rounding second. Kevin Rand is out there to make sure he can continue.
They're going to have to fight to get Victor out of there. He's played hurt all year long. That's a fastball that basically split the plate at 86 miles an hour. Castellanos was waiting on it. And here's Victor running, and he just gets to second base, and then he just really breaks down to the point of where Dave Clark had to call for Kevin Rand to come out and take a peek at him. I mean, man, he's laboring, isn't he?
Yeah, it's almost shutdown mode right there.
And you knew he was going to talk his way into staying in the game, too.
So that two-base hit will leave runners at second and third with 1 out. They've had Anthony Bass warming up, the Wayne State product, in their bullpen. And Bannister will leave him in. So second and third, and that'll bring up James McCann. The Tigers already lead 4-1. McCann 0 for 2, strikeout and a flyout. Drilled to center field on a line that's going to drop. 1 run scores. Here comes Castellanos. He'll try and score, and he will. It's a single and 2 RBIs for James McCann, and the Tigers now lead 6-1.
That might just do it for Kobe Lewis this evening.
So Bannister came out 1 pitch before that, and it was 1 pitch too late now, as the Tigers open up a 6-1 lead. Rangers go to the bullpen. Wallside Windows pitching change. We'll be back. As we play in the top of the 5th inning, the Tigers have had 2 big hits, a 3-run homer by Collins, a 2-run single by McCann, and here is Anthony Bass.
And Bass has a fastball that gets up to about 93 miles an hour, average heater, 89 to 91. He also has a slider that he throws about 28% of the time, and a changeup, no curveball. Born in Dearborn, Michigan.
Born in Dearborn, grew up in Trenton, and eventually found his way to Wayne State. Part of the Warriors program. Here's Romine now, the 9th man to bat in the inning, and Andrew looks at a strike, 0-1. Well, they knocked out Colby Lewis, Rod. He was pitching some of his best baseball of the year.
Yeah, Justin Verlander had something to do with that. The fact that he was able to slow down the bats tonight of the Texas Rangers. They had been scoring over 6 runs a game every time Lewis had taken the mound this year, and he's made 31 starts. That's a lot of runs.
That is. Romine looks at 1 high, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Verlander had to pitch out of that bases loaded jam. Verlander looking at the scouting report in the picture.
I was about to ask you that.
Because that's what Wally Joyner has.
That'll get away from Jimenez, and it'll move. Did it hit the batter? It hit the batter. So we hit by pitch, apparently on the foot of Romine. That'll put 2 men on.
Tigers are hit around. Second hit batter of the night for the Tigers. Collins was also hit earlier in the game.
Back foot.
Yep.
Ouch. So here's Machado, who started the inning with a single. Dixon is up there now with runners at first and second. Ball one high. Strikeout of J.D. Martinez. And a fly ball from Cabrera. In this inning, the only two batters that have been retired. Everybody else has reached.
Good slider there thrown by Bass at 86 miles an hour. He's gotten up to 94 with his heater. And you can see he holds his changeup. He throws a split change. It's not a straight circle change. It's more of a splitter changeup pitch.
Chopper to third. That's a fair ball. Beltre will tag the bag for the out. That'll end the big inning for the Tigers. The big blow, Tyler Collins. A 3-run shot to right. And the Tigers have opened it up. Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire.
By pitch after a homer, 2 hits and a base on balls. The bases were loaded, but Justin Verlander's starting to look like that guy again. A pop-up, a strikeout, and then a 96-mile-per-hour fastball right by Jimenez to pitch himself out of the jam.
In the meantime, the Tigers have gotten him 5 more runs. They lead 6-1 as we go to the bottom of the inning now. It's a strike call. Delino DeShields leads off the bottom of the 5th. DeShields, Chu, and Fielder, top 3 for Texas. Here's the 0-1. DeShields, couple of fly balls, one to center, one to right.
Yeah, his money is made on the ground. He's at his best when he's hitting ground balls and line drives and bunting for base hits. Ooh, straight changeup at 81 miles an hour.
In the dirt, then McCann down to block it. 2 balls and 2 strikes on DeShields. Former first-round pick of the Astros, a Rule 5 selection by Texas. There is Chu waiting on deck. Full count now, 3-2 on DeShields.
And Verlander upset with himself. He really choked that last slider off to the point where it bounced 3 feet in front of home plate.
The only run allowed by JV, the home run by Fielder to lead off the 4th inning on the very first pitch that he threw in the 4th. Full count pitch. In the air toward right. J.D. Martinez 0 for 3 so far for DeShields, 1 gone. The Detroit Tigers Winter Fantasy Camp is on sale now. Play ball with Tigers greats in Lakeland, Florida. The camp includes a salute to Jim Leland and the 2006 American League champions. If you'd like more information, call 313-471-2550 or visit tigers.com.
I think you ought to do the Winter Fantasy Camp one year.
I'm in.
Come down and I'll talk to Jerry Lewis.
All right,
I'll get you down there, get a nice little discount, put the uniform on, and have some fun.
I'm in, man. Let me know. There's a bouncer to first, and Verlander covers, 2 gone. You have a lot of fun doing that, don't you?
You know what? It's always a special time, Mario, just to put the uniform back on. I mean, if you played the game and a chance to put the uniform on and talk to some of your former teammates and some of the former Tigers players, and that's not even the best part of it. The best part of it is the campers and just getting a chance to talk to so many great Tigers fans. I mean, these people love the Tigers, and all they want to talk about is Tigers baseball.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but most of these campers are returners year after year.
They have a large contingent of their campers that do return. I mean, they've got some guys that have done it for 15 and 20 years.
Whoa.
But once they go, they just like it so much. It's the best one in the country, at least by the numbers. And they do 2 weeks. Most teams just do 1 week. The Tigers, they have so many fans, and Jerry Lewis puts on 2 weeks of fantasy camps.
Fielder, the batter. They'll back him out of there.
It's a little pricey, but I have to say, if you want to give a real nice gift to somebody that's a huge Tigers fan, that's one of the best things they'll ever do.
Now JV with the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike on Prince. Well, Fielder hit that home run in the 4th for the only run so far for the Rangers, his 23rd of the year. Earlier this year, Prince crossed the 300 plateau in homers. Fouled straight back. Prince and his father Cecil have formed one of the more prolific home run duos in the history of the game. They now have combined for 630 major league home runs.
Him and his daddy?
Yep, Cecil and Prince. They've done a lot of trotting, as you like to say.
Yes, indeed. They hit him a long way, too.
Drilled to right field. Ball hit well. Martinez going back. Reaches, can't get it. Up against the wall. Prince on his way to second, and he will pull in with a 2-out double.
Prince Fielder has hit 2 absolute seeds tonight off Justin Verlander. The last time he was up, he got a breaking ball inside, and his hit speed on a home run was 100 miles an hour. This is another breaking ball that he gets out in front of, and it looked like J.D. Martinez in right field was going to have a chance to run this ball down, but the ball just kept carrying over his head. Look how he waited on that breaking ball. Can't wait on a curveball any better than that.
Just out of the reach of Martinez. That'll keep the inning alive now for Beltre. Beltre, a single and a pop-up. .280 batting average this year for Beltre. That hit was the 5th of the night for the Rangers. Tigers have 10 hits already in this game.
There are a lot of people in baseball that believe that Adrian Beltre has done enough, that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. He's been a really good third baseman for a number of years. Lots of homers, lots of doubles, Silver Slugger awards, all-star teams, Gold Gloves. And if you look at some of the numbers of some of the third basemen that are in the Hall of Fame, his numbers are right up there with some of the guys that are in there.
We talked about this the last time we played the Rangers, and I started looking up some numbers on Beltre. I didn't realize that Adrian Beltre has, well, almost 2,800 big league hits. He came in with 2754 for his career. A lot of home runs. He's over 400 in that category.
17 consecutive seasons with at least 100 knocks.
One ball, two strikes on Beltre. And he's got 1,000 extra base hits.
He's had a really nice big league career. Dodgers, Seattle, one stop in Boston. And he parlayed that into a 5-year deal here in Texas.
Swing and a miss, and Verlander gets him on strikes. Nothing comes of the 2-out double by Prince Fielder. Let's go to the 6th here in Arlington. Year, and for me, I think the one stat that sticks out for Bannister, who would get my vote, would be 17-win improvement over last year. So his team has had the biggest improvement over last season. I think that's pretty big.
Yeah, it is huge. It appeared that A.J. Hinch was going to get that award until like the last 6 weeks, where his team just really started to struggle down the stretch. But if you look at Paul Molitor and his team, the Minnesota Twins, I can't think of another team that another manager has gotten more out of a team with less talent than Molitor has gotten out of his team this year.
So you would go Molitor?
I don't know if I would vote for Molitor, but I do know that the Minnesota Twins, as far as the personnel that's on their roster, is not as good as this Texas team, nor is it as good as the Houston Astros team.
Yeah, really good point. Ghost leading it off, then Collins, and then Cabrera. Tigers batting here in the 6th inning, leading by a score of 6-1.
Anthony Ghost doubled and scored his last time up. Sharp line drive over the shortstop Andrews' head in the left center field.
Ball high and away, and the count goes 2-1 now on left-handed batting Anthony Ghost. Bass came on to get the final out in the 5th inning. That's low, and now he's gone 3-1. Anthony Bass is second among relievers on this staff with over 62 innings pitched, 63 now. And a ball high, so Ghost will take his walk.
Let's take a look at the big boys' big play of the game, and it was Tyler Collins his last time up. He got a hanging breaking ball that just landed down in his happy zone, his nitro zone, and he drilled a home run, 3-run shot against Kobe Lewis, who they knocked out after 4 2/3 innings of work this evening.
And now the Tigers again get the leadoff man on. The Collins home run was his 4th. 20 RBIs now for Tyler. Ball 1, and that'll bring the catcher Jimenez out to the mound.
And Anthony goes and can still steal a base here. A 5-run lead in the 6th inning. That's not too many to shut down your running game. Dave Clark. Alavila was with us a couple days ago, and he said that he feels like Dave Clark is going to be a future big league manager at some point in time. It's pretty high praise coming from the new general manager.
Sure is. He also felt that Vizquel probably is a manager in waiting.
And I think both guys would welcome that opportunity if it ever comes up. A wealth of knowledge between the two.
And Ghost will draw another throw as he dives back in. Anthony, 21 stolen bases this year.
Anthony has admitted that he would love to get his percentage a little bit better as far as when he does steal bases. He feels like he's been thrown out way too many times this year. I believe he's been caught 10 times.
Meanwhile, 2-0 on Collins, and you've got the meat of the lineup lurking. It'll be Cabrera, then Martinez, and Martinez.
He might as well take another shot at another homer if he gets a fastball here from Bass.
Ball high.
Most of Bass's fastballs in this particular inning have been up in the zone. He already walked Anthony Ghost. He's in jeopardy of walking Tyler Collins.
And there's more action in the bullpen now for the Rangers. Sheppers is warming up. There is Tanner Sheppers. There's a strike, 3-1 the count. That is ripped foul down the first base line. 3-2 now on Tyler Collins. Tigers attempting this year to lead the league in hitting once again. And they could lead the major leagues in average for 3 consecutive years. That's something that hasn't been done all that often. In fact, since 1901, only the Red Sox have done that. And they've done that, or they did that, in 4 straight years. The Tigers trying to do it 3 consecutive seasons. So the offense, you know, by and large, has still carried its share of the load here. And tonight they piled up 10 more hits.
Which means that they're not far off going into the 2016 season. There are going to be some decisions that are going to have to be made as far as how they get the pitching back in order. And so that they can compete, because the offense is going to be good once again next season.
271 to 270 for KC. Runner goes, and it's hit high in the air to left. Josh Hamilton backing up. Wilson goes back to first base, 1 gone. So Bass rebounds after falling behind Collins. Now Miguel Cabrera. Look at these numbers. These are in 31 games. 36 RBIs in this park.
Wow. It's ridiculous.
A 391 average.
He had a 3-homer game in this ballpark in 2013.
Remember that And it just makes you wonder, Rod, had he spent his entire career in this ballpark, what his numbers would be like right now.
Man, oh man. Because he's played in 2 big ballparks. Pro Player Stadium down in Miami was a huge ballpark where he began his career in 2003. And then, of course, he moved to Comerica Park, where he has been since 2008.
Here's the 0-1. Instead, he'll go back to first base. Looks like Steven Moya has moved to the on-deck circle, so whatever was ailing Victor Martinez has apparently taken him out of the game now. And the rookie Moya will assume the DH role. Bouncing ball left side, base hit. Out of the reach of a diving Andrews. Ghosts on his way to second, pulls in there, and Miguel Cabrera has his first hit tonight.
We were talking about Miguel Cabrera and the damage that he has done in this ballpark. This was May of 2013, and Miguel was, well, he was on one that night. Homer to right center field his first time up, then he went straight central his second time up, and then he went left center field the next time up. So Miggy, and there was no ballpark that he could not reach that evening. Just a special night for Miguel. That's when he had that guy batting behind him too, Prince Fielder.
Conversation on the mound with 2 on. Mike Maddox, their pitching coach, is out to talk to Bass. Now Bruce Druckman is going out to break up the conversation. So the Tigers threatening again here with 2 on and 1 out.
Mike Maddox is the pitching coach, but his younger brother Greg Maddox is a special assistant that kind of helps him out with pitching in spring training and during the season. That's a wealth of pitching knowledge.
Ooh, not kidding.
Maddox won over 300 big league games. Greg, that is.
And Mike has been known as a very respected pitching coach.
He's gotten some interviews for managers' gigs the last couple of years too.
So here's Steven Moya, his first at bat of this ball game. Pinch hitting for Victor Martinez.
As soon as we get word on Victor, we'll pass it along, but I have a feeling it has something to do with that left knee that has really hampered him all season.
Moya swings and misses.
94-mile-per-hour fastball thrown right by the youngster. Steven Moya at 94 miles an hour.
Moya last year the Tigers minor league player of the year. Had a huge season at AA and got a cup of coffee last year in September. Now the 0-1. 94 from Bass there, but it missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Six runs, 11 hits for the Tigers. A run on 5 hits for the Rangers. Tigers threatening again here in the 6th. They knocked out Colby Lewis in the 5th. Moya slams it foul down the left field line.
Here's the Victor injury back in the 4th inning on a double by Castellanos. You can see once he got to second base, he just kind of broke down into almost a trot. And he was limping visibly, obviously.
One and two on Moya. Checked it. Runner goes. Throw to third. And Beltran unable to handle it. That ball came up and bit him. Both runners will move up as Cabrera will go to second once that ball got away from Beltran. So give Ghost a stolen base.
Anthony Ghost did not have a really good jump here. He kind of went from a standstill position. Take a look at him. He doesn't even have a good secondary lead here, which is a prerequisite usually at stealing the base successfully. Had that been a better throw by Jimenez, there's no doubt that Anthony Ghost is out because of the fact that he did not get a really good secondary lead.
Ghost gets a steal, and the error by the catcher on the throw moves Cabrera up to second. Infield in now. Way inside to Moya. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That thing, you're right. If that throw is right on there, Ghost is out by a wide margin.
Yeah, Anthony did not get a good jump there. I mean, it's one of the things that they've talked about that they want to work with him in on going into next year, just getting better jumps and better reads and different things like that.
Full count now, 3-2.
Anthony has a lot of physical skills for sure.
Moya pops it up. This will head back into the seats, though, behind the Tiger dugout. J.D. Martinez waiting on deck. The Rangers can't afford to give up any more, so they have drawn the infield in. And Moya takes his walk, and that'll load the bases. The second walk in this inning for Bass. Meanwhile, the right-hander Tanner Scheppers would be ready to go if needed. And here is J.D. Martinez. A couple of grand slams for J.D. 6 for 10 this year with the bases loaded. Ball 1 as Jimenez blocks that one. In there, 1 ball, 1 strike. Houston, which is trailing Texas, or was by 2.5 coming into play tonight, is leading in their ball game 1-0 early. And the Rangers, of course, now it's 2-0. Rangers, of course, trailing here 6-1. Strike called on Martinez. 1 ball and 2 strikes on J.D. Meanwhile, Minnesota has hung on to beat Cleveland, so the Indians are fading fast. Here's the 1-2. Bouncing ball to short on the charge. Andrews flips to second. Tough relay, not in time.
That bad feed by Andrews cost them the double play. JD will get an RBI.
He shoveled it to second base, couldn't get much on it.
And JD inching his way toward 100 RBI. It's a real bad feed by Andrews.
That ground ball probably should have gotten Bass out of the inning, but that feed by Andrews just too far for an underhand toss.
For sure.
And Martinez runs well enough to beat it out. 99 driven in now for JD, and more importantly 7-1 Tigers. It'll keep it going for Castellanos. Nick has a double and a single in this game. He has a run scored as well. And he pulls this one on the ground to short. Andrews will fire to second for the 4th, ending the inning. Tigers add another. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th.
on Kobe Lewis. That would be the third inning. Miguel Cabrera walked with the bases loaded. He walked in a run. Prince Fielder got them on the board with a solo shot. It was a breaking ball off Justin Verlander. Then Tyler Collins got a breaking ball right in his nitro zone against Kobe Lewis. And he was able to basically knock Kobe Lewis out of the game. That'll be Castellanos with the final pitch. Lewis threw after 4 2/3.
So Justin goes back to the mound, leading 7-1 now as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Mitch Moreland starts it off. He'll look at a strike, 0-1.
Verlander continuing to elevate that fastball anywhere from 89 to 95 to Mitch Moreland up in the strike zone.
The turning point in this game for Verlander had to be in the 4th inning. He had given up the home run to Fielder, then made it 1-1, then 2 singles and a walk, and all of a sudden the bases were loaded with nobody out, and JV got 3 outs with a pop-up and 2 punch-outs.
Yeah, he got busy after that.
And that was the best early chance for Texas to grab the lead in this game. There's a check swing. Did he go? Yes. So says Dan Bellino, who struck him out. And that'll be for JV, punch out number 5.
I don't know if Moreland was looking for something else, but that was a swing that he didn't look like he was convinced it was going to be a strike.
Here's Hamilton. Walking a ground out. Talked about Hamilton in 3 stints on the disabled list. Recently had knee surgery. Swings and fouls it back. And when he first came up, Ron, I mean, you looked at his body type and his physical skills, and he was just one of those guys that if he found a way to stay healthy was just going to put up massive numbers. But injuries have been such a big part of his career.
Yeah, he's always had a lot of talent since he was the #1 player chosen in the country by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at that particular time. We talked about some of the issues he had off the field, so his career was stalled for a while until he finally got back into baseball after being out of the game for a few years. Got to the big league with Cincinnati, then traded to Texas, where his career just took off.
Oh, 2 on Hamilton. Driven toward left field. Here comes Collins on the run, diving. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Collins with a heck of an effort, though.
And apparently Tyler Collins, he knows that he did not catch it because he's not fighting very much with the second base umpire who made the call. That would be Tom Hallian. Nice try, though.
So the Rangers have 1 on, 1 out here in the 6th. Elvis Andrus looks at a strike. Tigers tonight 7 runs, 11 hits. Texas 1 run, 6 hits. This will be Verlander's 100th pitch. They do have action in their bullpen. Drew Verhagen warming up inside. 1-1 on Andrus. What a great surprise Verhagen has been. His work out of the bullpen has been really good.
He carries himself like he's been in the big leagues for 10 years.
That's in the air toward left. Collins moves over for this one. 2 outs. Time for a game break now. Justin White. How about that? I mean, the Royals had that and it looked like they were going to cruise to the best record.
And the way that the Blue Jays are playing right now in their ballpark in the Rogers Center in Toronto is no joke.
It's big.
Did you see Josh Donaldson last night? Another walk-off home run.
Yeah, it's pretty magical what they have going on. It's one of those seasons where, you know, they're putting it all together, and the moves they made at the deadline. This is a great example of how you can really improve your team.
They are selling out every single night. They are having a lot of fun in Toronto right now.
There's Rougned Odor. 1-2 on Odor, who, as you can tell by his body language, did not like that call. Verlander ready with the 0-2. Ball high, 1-2. So now knowing what you know, and the Royals without Greg Holland, how much of a difference does that make? Are the Blue Jays the best team in the American League now?
I think so. Yeah, I think the Blue Jays are the best team in the American League right now. With David Price anchoring that staff, and they got that kid Marcus Stroman back, who lost to an injury earlier the year with a knee. They weren't expecting to get him back, and he's looked outstanding in about 3 starts. Yeah, I've got Toronto coming out of the American League. I'm still all in on the Cubbies, though.
You love that Cubs team,
man. I like Jake Arrieta.
No, what's not to like in the second half?
That's who I like.
3-2.
And that team is scary, man. They got all those young kids, man, that can hit. I mean, they get to the postseason, man, they're not going to know what's going on. They just got there for the first time in the big league.
So you think that their youth might actually help them?
I do.
In that respect.
They're so talented. They've got a lot of talent. It's amazing how much talent the Chicago Cubs have stockpiled. And it's young talent, and it's homegrown talent.
3-2. Runner will go, and it's popped up. Left side of the infield, Castellanos calling, and he is called off now by Machado. Inning is over, no runs, 1 hit. Verlander threw 6, and the Tigers lead 7-1. In Arlington, the Tigers comfortably ahead, and the Rangers go to the bullpen in a Wallside Windows pitching change. It'll be Tanner Shepard.
And last half inning, we showed you Miguel Cabrera hitting 3 home runs in this ballpark in May of 2013, I should say. That 3rd home run he hit was off Shepard's that night. He's been in 41 games this year for the Rangers, a .579 earned run average, 31 strikeouts, 22 base on balls.
New center fielder Leonis Martin. He will take over for DeShields.
Shepard has a good arm. Fastball gets up to 95 miles an hour. He throws a lot of sliders as well. About 32% of his pitches are sliders. Very few curveballs and an occasional changeup thrown by Shepard. So mostly fastballs and sliders thrown by the big right-hander.
He will face the bottom three in the Tigers starting lineup tonight. It'll be McCann, Romine, Machado. And although they're the bottom three, they've done a lot of damage. James has a 2-run single. Romine's been on base a couple of times. Likewise, Machado. McCann sends a ground ball up the middle. Ranging left is Andrews. One away. And Sheppers now will face Romine. There's a line drive to left. That's another base hit for Romine, who just continues to swing the bat. That is his second hit of this game.
He tweaked his groin that last homestand. He missed a couple of games because Brad was resting him, wanted to get better. And he picked up right where he left off with that real good stroke from the left side.
Here's Dixon Machado. 2 more hits tonight for the rookie shortstop. Machado's got the average up to 250 now. And it's little inside. 1 ball, no strikes. 94 on the gun from Sheppers. Missed it again. 2-0 the count. Sheppers recalled from Round Rock on September the 6th. Their AAA team. Pretty good numbers there. Was 0-2 with a 1.93 earned run average. Bouncing ball to third, behind the bag, and foul. 2-1. Tigers seen another pretty good pitcher tomorrow night, and that'll be Cole Hamels. Then Giovanni Gallardo will pitch on Wednesday. The Tigers countering with Norris and Boyd the next 2 nights.
Yeah, Tigers haven't seen much of Cole Hamels. He has spent his entire big league career over the National League pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies before being traded here at the trade deadline. It's really a great move by their general manager, John Daniels, because Cole Hamels, unlike Price, unlike Cueto, some of the other big trade deadline deals, those guys are free agents. And they've got Hamel under control at least for the next couple of years. Can you imagine him and Yu Darvish in that rotation?
Yeah, very nice. There's a strike call. Derek Holland as well.
Yes, indeed.
Three and two. Runner goes, and a ground ball to third, foul again. Well, Romine was on move. The Tigers busted this one open with a 5-run 5th inning. 3-run shot by Tyler Collins. Ghost waiting on deck. Machado this year an all-star down at AAA. And Romine draws the throw. Runner goes, and a grounder foul again. Machado hanging tough against Sheppers. Meanwhile, Romine is breathing hard now after running back at 4th. Bottom 3 in the Tigers lineup tonight, on base 6 times. And he lost him. Ball 4. Finally draws the walk. That'll put 2 men on.
Chevrolet brings you the high-strength steel. The Tigers a couple of times here tonight have stolen third base, once by Romine, the other one by Anthony Ghost. Both guys successful.
So with 2 on, here is Ghost, who will stand in trying to extend the 7-1 lead for the Tigers. Anthony doubled and a walk. He has scored a couple of times. And the stolen base as well. Ball low on Ghost. Action in the bullpen. Luke Jackson warming up.
Luke's got the show hair.
It does. I love that term, the show hair. Did he go? He did not.
Now, how much time do you think he had to spend in the mirror before the game to get that stuff looking like that?
About 45 minutes.
How about that?
Somebody else had the show hair earlier this year that you brought that up. I can't remember who it was. But it went down to the shoulders.
You know, the guy DeGrom has the show hair in New York.
Might have been Colby Rasmus with the Astros.
His stuff is long for sure.
Luke's got some product in his hair out there in the bullpen, man. It's shimmering. The 2-1 pitch is in for a strike. 2-2 on Anthony Ghost.
Yeah, good fastball, 93. And it froze Anthony Ghost on the inside part of the plate by Sheppers. When you go inside, you got to get it in there. And he did.
Ooh, he just missed with it. Sheppers wanted that one, didn't get it, and now the count is full at 3-2.
Ooh. Foxtrack said it was a strike.
Yep, easily could have been called strike 3. Anthony sitting there, don't call it, don't call it.
Yeah, Anthony got away with one there.
He'll drive this one toward left, but foul. We're in the 7th inning here in Texas. The Tigers lead 7-1 in the first of 3. They'll have an off day in Chicago on Thursday, and then they'll play the White Sox for 3 to close it out. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Got him, strike 3. That time Ghost is caught looking. He wasn't so sure that was a strike, but he'll walk back to the bench. 2 gone.
And that one did appear to be up, but I think Anthony got the benefit of the doubt on the 5th pitch of the at-bat, the hanging breaking ball that Sheppers threw that was called a ball. And so that time it was called a strike by Bruce Jeckman.
2 outs now for Tyler Collins. Tyler, a 3-run shot, the big hit in this ball game for the Tigers. Back him out 1-0. The home run that Collins hit was his 4th of the season. This gives him 4 hits in his last 2 games. JV has been good tonight. He gave up just the home run to Prince Fielder in the 4th, and that really has been it.
Shepard's not afraid to go inside against the left-handers with that fastball, four-seam fastball, 93, 94.
Two and one. High fly ball to left should get him out of the inning as Hamilton cruises under it to retire the side. Coming up, the McLaren Health Plan 7th inning stretch. The 7th inning, Justin Verlander, 9 quality starts now in his last 10 outings. Right tonight, he was really good.
He really was. I mean, they really couldn't square him up. Prince hit a couple of balls really hard against Justin, but by and large, no one else was able to hit balls as hard as Prince did. 9th quality start in the last 10. You brought it up. That's tremendous. And how about the Tigers? 7 through 9 hitters, 5 for 10 with a couple of stakes, a couple of runs, and a couple of steals.
And so we go to the bottom of the 7th, up by 6, and it'll be Chris Jimenez to start things off for the Rangers here, and he looks at strike one.
Tigers with 3 stolen bases tonight.
Verlander out of the ball game. Blaine Hardy is in now for the Tigers, and that one is low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. 69th appearance for Blaine Hardy.
He's been awfully good out of the bullpen. The ERA sits at 3. Couple different fastballs, sinker, cutter, couple different breaking balls, nice changeup, real good mound presence, throws a lot of strikes, doesn't walk very many.
Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Here's that changeup, straight change in a 2-1 count, and you could see how fooled Jimenez was. That's a perfect example of what the changeup is designed to do.
Slap to right field. It'll drop. Base hit.
And then he comes back with a fastball.
Leadoff single for the Rangers here in the 7th. Don't forget you can follow the Tigers wherever you are with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. MLB.com at Bat. Get it for your smartphone or tablet. Here's Leonis Martin, his first at bat of the night. Took over defensively for the center fielder Delino DeShields. Martin, a .220 hitter.
He pretty much was their everyday center fielder last year.
How about the Royals and Cubs? They are scoreless in the 11th tonight.
Scoreless in the 11th.
Well, Ventura started that ball game for the Royals. Good block there by McCann.
I bet that's a really good baseball game. No runs to 11. There's been some outstanding pitching in that contest.
One and two on Martin. Swing and a miss. Hardy gets his strikeout, one gone. Here's Shih Tzu Chu. Mentioning how Chu is one of the hottest hitters in baseball coming into this game, but he's 0 for 3 tonight. Verlander handled him nicely. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout.
Yeah, Chu has always had his difficult time with Justin Verlander. He just really has not been able to do much against Justin in his big league career.
There's a base hit just out of the reach of Machado. They're going to try and get the lead runner to third, and they will, as Jimenez hustles over there. First and third now with one out. So Verlander leaves, and Chu is able to finally get a hit.
He got himself a breaking ball from Hardy and stayed with it very nicely. Didn't try to do too much with it. And he ripped it right past a diving Machado. Now that is tremendous concentration there by Chu. One hop bullet.
Here is Fielder trying to get them back into this game with one swing of the bat. Prince had a homer in the 4th, a double in the 5th. He's also walked. On the inside corner, strike one with a fastball from Hardy.
You know, I was talking earlier about Elvis Andrus, their shortstop, who's a lot smaller than Prince Fielder, but uses a bigger bat than Prince. Elvis, their shortstop, is swinging a 35-inch, 33-ounce bat these days. Prince Fielder, there were times when he was with the Tigers where his bat was only 33 inches. 34 max.
McCann will throw down to second. It's going to be a little bit late. Wild pitch will advance the runner.
That is a really nice block by McCann, but the ball trickled about 4 feet to the left, and that allowed Chu, who got a pretty good read and a good break from first base, to get in the scoring position. You want to just keep the ball in front of you, shuffle it out with your glove. That one trickled off the left arm and got just far enough to allow Chu to advance.
Leadoff single by Jimenez with one out. Chu singles him to third. Now a wild pitch.
Brad knows how lethal this Texas Rangers offense can be, and especially when they play in this particular ballpark. They play very well and have played very well here lately.
Yeah, it can be quick strike. We mentioned earlier that the Rangers coming in had won 23 of their last 30 home games. Bouncing ball towards second base. He'll get the run in, and Fielder is out. Scoring on the play, Jimenez, to make it 7-2. Chu goes to third. Fielder gets his second RBI of the night. Here's Beltre. A single and 3 at bats for Beltre. Ball one. High fly ball, right field, not deep. J.D. Martinez under it, and that'll end the inning. They get a run. played 7 here in Arlington, 7-2. Donaldson, a walk-off home run. The magic continues in Toronto as the Blue Jays beat Tampa, and man, they are just partying right now in Toronto.
That is a 41 home runs now for the American League most valuable player, Josh Donaldson. And they ripped his shirt off.
What a year. Donaldson marching toward the MVP, I think, and here's what it's looking like in the playoff picture now. Looks like they're pairing Cleveland out as the Indians lost again tonight. So the Angels in Minnesota still battling with Houston for that second wild card.
Yep, they're still hanging. It's going to go down to the final week of the season.
Houston still has their sights on the West as well as they trail Texas.
91 wins now for Toronto, 90 for Kansas City.
Here is Cabrera to lead it off in the 8th inning. Tigers lead 7-2, and it's swung on and missed 0-1.
And Jackson with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball to go with that show here.
Number 8 prospect for the Rangers, according to MLB.com, Luke Jackson. Ooh, it's fouled away, and who got that?
Jimenez.
Well, we got a new catcher, actually. That is Chirinos. Robinson Chirinos has checked in. Jackson recalled from Round Rock on September the 1st, made his major league debut a couple of days after that.
Ooh, nice
bouncing ball left side of the infield, and Andrews will throw him out.
So 94-95 with the fastball from Jackson, and then a really good breaking ball that he threw there to Miguel to get the ground out.
Here's Steven Moya. Got word on Victor Martinez, by the way. Moya took over for him. Left quad soreness. He'll be reevaluated tomorrow. That's why Martinez had to leave. Moya, in his only at bat, walked in the 6th. Right down the middle at 95, 0-1. We're at Globe Life Park here in Arlington. Mario and Rod, glad you were with us here this evening. Craig Monroe as well. John Keating. Swing and miss.
The whole crew.
The whole crew is here. Chris Wasilewski is our producer. Brian Moss, our director. Oh, 0-2 on Moya. Pulled that one right out of Chirinos' glove to stay alive. Jackson, born in Fort Lauderdale, turned 24 this August. Lefties down in the minor leagues were not hitting all that well against him. 192. The 0-2. Bouncing in, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Moya. JD Martinez will be next.
Jackson's fastball can get all the way up to 97 miles an hour. He throws lots of curveballs. He also has a slider, but he does not feature that as much as he throws that curveball. He's got a huge break on that curveball as well. 81 miles an hour.
Jackson made the switch to full-time relief in the month of May. He was the Rangers minor league pitcher of the year in 2013. Won 11 ball games that year. Swing and a miss, and he threw it by him in 96.
Here it is, hit it.
First strikeout for Jackson. October means baseball, and FS1 continues to be your home for postseason action with American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and the history. It all begins October 8th on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Promises to be another exciting postseason.
Always is. Unfortunately, we'll be at home watching this year, whereas the last 4 years we've been fortunate enough to participate in postseason play.
Here's JD Martinez. Two balls, no strikes on JD. Picked up an RBI and a ground ball back in the 6th, and that means Martinez now has 99 RBIs. There's 96 again from Jackson.
He's not afraid to throw that fastball. Why would he with that velocity?
Oh man,
close pitch. JD got away with one.
Yeah, I think he did. Jackson comes from a family that is very athletic. His dad Edward played football at Florida State. His mom Kim ran track at Louisville. And he's pitching in the big leagues. That'll get back out of play.
That is quite the family.
Tom Gorsolani is in the Tigers bullpen. He'll be next. Verlander tonight went 6 for the Tigers. His pitch count got up a little bit early in the game. Had a couple of long innings.
And Moreland and Hamilton are due up for the Texas Rangers in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
2-on walk for JD.
A couple left-handers. That's why Gorsolani will be used.
Here's Nick Castellanos. Castellanos a single and a double. He continues his late surge here in 2015.
Loves the first pitch. And that was the pitch where he should have tried to hit that huge hole on the right side of the infield because of Odor and the shortstop playing directly up the middle. It's a huge hole on that side for Nick.
Bender drops in low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers broke it open tonight with a 5-run 5th inning. They had never trailed in this ball game.
That Kansas City Chicago game has gone final now.
Who
Cubs won it 1-0.
95 at the knees, but low. 2-1. Royals aren't exactly playing their best baseball down the stretch, are they?
No, they've kind of stumped their toe a little bit down the stretch. Their bullpen hasn't been as locked down as it has been the last couple of years. Still got a really good team. Won 90 games.
Good curveball in for a strike, 2-2.
He loves his breaking ball, and it is a good one. You're pretty much straight down. 12-6 curveball.
He followed that up with 96, and Castellanos fouled it back.
And he's throwing both of them out of the same window. So you see the same window, you see the same arm speed. One comes at 96, and the breaking ball comes at 82, 83.
2-2 on Nick. 2-out base runner. Ground ball left side. Andrus in the hole. He'll get the force to end the inning. No runs, a walk, and one man left. To the bottom of the 8th we go.
His outing against the Texas Rangers bats, lots of harmless fly balls, harmless ground balls. He had a handful of strikeouts as well, whether he was painting that fastball on the outside black at 96 or going upstairs throwing it right by some of these right-handed batters. Justin Verlander has simply been sensational in his last 13 starts. A 2.22 ERA. The opponents are hitting 206 against him, but his record sits at 4-5.
So with a 7-2 ball game, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Tom Gorzelani is coming in out of the Tigers bullpen now.
And Gorzelani was a couple left-handers. One will be Moreland. The other one will be Josh Hamilton.
It'll be Moreland to lead it off. He has a single, strikeout, and pop-up. Gorzelani replacing Blaine Hardy. First one fouled back out of play, 0-1. Mitch Moreland batting .281. He sits safely now in 8 of his last 9. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Gorzelani started the year in the Tigers bullpen, then was sent down to the minor leagues and has returned.
He and Jabba Chamberlain were shipped out at the same time. Of course, Jabba moved down with the Royals.
And Gorzelani went down to the minor leagues, and he came back with a new arm slot. Basically a sidearm slot, and it's worked very well for him since coming back, especially against the left-handed batters.
One out.
He might be interesting going into next year. I know it's not been a good year for Gorzelani. He'd be the first one to tell you this has not been a good year for him, but you have to look at the numbers from last year and think that if he can regain this arm slot and find it and pitch effectively with this arm slot, he might be a nice piece as a situational left hand in the bullpen.
Here's Josh Hamilton. I would think it's kind of hard to learn and implement a new arm angle in the middle of a season, whether it's the minor leagues or big leagues.
Very difficult, but he has attempted to do so. And every now and then he's able to throw some really nice breaking balls and some good two-seam fastballs with nice action on them. Good fastball right there across his body at 91 miles an hour.
He was outrighted to Toledo back in about the first week of July, and then Tigers brought him back up to the big leagues. That's in for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Josh Hamilton. Single walk ground out tonight. There's the shift they play on against Hamilton. Way outside. Hamilton would not bite. That was too far out of the strike zone. 2-2. Count. Here goes the shattered bat. Rolled to first. They're going to get him as Gorzelani covers. Broken bat, ground out, 2 away. They'll bring up Elvis Andrus. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Had a single back in the first. Again, we go back to that 4th inning for the Rangers. They will look back at this game if they end up losing it and saying they lost it in the 4th inning.
No doubt. A home run by Prince Fielder, back-to-back singles, then a base on balls, bases loaded, nobody out. Justin Verlander got out of it.
And yes, it was against the bottom of the lineup, but this is a Texas lineup that is still deep enough that you would think it's going to be awfully difficult to pitch out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam.
Great point.
But he did it. And the Tigers have backed him up with 7 runs tonight. Pulled to third base, right at Castellanos. And Tom Gorzelani has himself a 1, 2, 3, 8th inning. We'll go to the 9th. The Tigers in this one, the best record since July the 21st. Talk about the Rangers at 41-22. Only Toronto has been better, and the Cubs are right there as well.
And one of the reasons why the Cubs are where they are as far as the National League is concerned, and the Texas Rangers have been able to take over the Houston Astros for first place. I mean, they didn't take over first place until, what, 10 days ago?
Yeah. It's been a remarkable turnaround for the Rangers. Here's a line drive caught by the second baseman Odor. One away, the new man on the mound for the Rangers, Nick Martinez.
He has had some starts in the big leagues, 21 of those to be exact, a 7-7 record, a 3.99 ERA. He's walked quite a few, 45, 77 strikeouts for the right-hander.
Romine, another big night.
As you can imagine, with the starts that Martinez has had and being a starter, and part of the time he has all four pitches: fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup. Loves his changeup.
Two-one now on Romine. Martinez, a native of Hialeah, Florida.
Hialeah, Florida.
25 years old. Foul back, and it's 2-2 the count. '18th rounder of the Rangers in 2011. Ball low. Martinez played his college ball at Fordham University in the Bronx.
Fordham.
Trying to think if anybody else out of Fordham has pitched in the big leagues.
I've never heard you say it.
And that one is outside. How about that? Romine is on yet again. On for the fourth time tonight. Two singles, hit by pitch, and a walk. Here's Machado. Two singles and a walk for Dixon out of that 9 spot. In their first strike.
Bottom of the Tigers batting orders had a nice day. Quite a few hits. Scored some runs. They've driven in a couple. They've had a couple of steals. Romine with one of those steals.
Little chopper slowly toward third. Beltre on the bare hand. And he got him by a step.
Real nice concentration there by Adrian Beltre, watching that slow chopper all the way into the hand. He probably could have used the glove and still gotten Machado, but he elected to play it the way that he played it. 4-time Gold Glove winner.
Interesting to see how he transferred that ball once he actually caught it and spun it in his fingers to get the grip he wanted.
Yep, exactly. Without even looking at it.
Yeah, and those are little things that big league players do. The little nuances of the game that you just don't realize.
The ones that really do it and do it quickly are the catchers. I mean, because they grab the ball out of the glove and the guy's running down to second base, so they have to grab it and then quickly adjust it to get that grip, four-seam grip, before they throw it down to second base.
1 for 4 for Anthony Gose. A couple of runs scored tonight. Driven toward left field. Hamilton is on the run, still going, makes a running catch in the corner.
Oh, that is a really nice play for a guy that missed a month with knee surgery.
Hamilton runs that one down, takes a double and an RBI away from Anthony Gose. We shall go to the bottom of the ninth in Arlington.
Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back here in Arlington, Globe Life Park is the scene tonight. It's been all Tigers. They lead 7-2. They need 3 more outs. And it'll be Ian Kroll getting his turn out of the bullpen.
So many left-handers in the starting lineup tonight for the Texas Rangers. After Justin Verlander, it was Hardy, then Gorzolani, and now Kroll. 3 left-handers out of their bullpen.
Rougned Odor will lead things off. 7-2. Tigers have the lead here tonight. Odor looks at a ball high. A couple of pop-ups and a strikeout for Rougned. On the outer edge, a strike called. 1-1. Tigers are 3 outs away from winning their 73rd of the year. They will finish below 500 this year, and that'll be just the second time since 06 they've fallen or finished below 500. Two and one. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Ground ball to second. Romine, easy play. Odor busting it down the line anyway. 1 gone.
Yeah, Romine, you better get it over there.
Yeah, had him all the way, says Andrew.
You just want to make him run.
Here is Robinson Chirinos. Batting .225. First at bat for Chirinos. Strike called. 0-1. Ball high, and the count evens now. 1 ball, 1 strike. Crowd here tonight at 27,847.
And Verlander kept him quiet most of the night.
Swing and a miss. 1-2. Now Kroll ready with the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball, fair ball, just out of the reach of Cabrera, down the line, extra bases. Chirinos is on his way to second. He will stop there. It's a 1-out double. He's going to bring up Mike Napoli now, who's going to pinch hit.
Very seldom do you see right-handed batters hit a ball right down the first baseline. And Miguel was off the line about 7-8 feet. The reason why he was not able to knock that ball down.
So Napoli now will pinch hit for Leonis Martin.
Second tour of duty in a Texas Rangers uniform for Napoli. They were able to acquire him from the Boston Red Sox on August 7th.
A 7-2 ball game, still a 5-run spread, 1 on, 1 out. Napoli looks at strike 1.
Yeah, nice little bender there thrown by Ian Kroll at 77 miles an hour. Little get me over curveball that Napoli couldn't pull the trigger on. He was clearly looking for a first pitch fastball.
What was that? And in case more help is needed, Neftali Feliz, the former Ranger, is warming up. That one just missed.
Yeah, I guess Mr. Foxtrack said shade off the plate inside.
Here's Phillies. Fouled away. 1-2. Mike Napoli batting here with 1 on, 1 out. The double by Chirinos. Getting the Napoli chance going here. 2-2. Chu waiting on deck. Inside the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Now the count has gone full, 3-2. Napoli sends it foul down the right field line. Was late on that mid-90s fastball from Kroll. It's an interesting version of the rally cap.
It sure is.
And he lost it, ball 4. He's going to put 2 men on now. He's going to bring Jeff Jones out. Whoa.
Another close pitch.
Just a skosh low. Stubbs coming on a pinch run for Napoli, who draws the walk. So with 2 on and 1 out, now the Rangers bringing the healthy part of their lineup up. Shin-Soo Choo will stand in. And Choo in this ball game is 1 for 4. Still a couple of batters away from bringing the tying run to the plate. Choo looks at ball 1. Kroll got the ground out to start the inning, but then a double by Chirinos and a walk to the pinch hitter Napoli. Oh, look out. Choo buckles out of the way. 2-0.
Well, all of a sudden, Kroll can't find the strike zone.
3-0.
The last thing Brad wanted to do was bring in Phillies in this game.
Well, if he loses Kroll here, you got Fielder next, another left-handed batter. He's taking all the way, wasn't close.
Brad's seen enough. He's going to go get him anyway.
So Kroll will not be able to get through the 9th. And they're going to bring in Phillies here with Prince Fielder coming up. So Kroll gives up the baseball. Another pitching change here in Arlington. We'll be back.
hits and a base on balls to load the bases, and Justin Verlander got out of it. A pop-up and a couple of strikeouts, and that was a huge turning point in this game for the Texas Rangers. They would threaten no more until now.
Well, it is the former closer for the Rangers, now the closer for the Tigers, Neftali Feliz.
Left-hander is hitting .269 this season against Neftali Feliz, and the first batter he will see is a left-hander. That would be Prince Fielder.
They are loaded up. It is a 7-2 ball game.
Prince Fielder has one of the highest batting averages in baseball against right-handed pitching. He's around 350.
2 out of 3 tonight. The average at 306 for the year. He hit his 23rd homer this season, back in the 4th.
And Prince hit 301 a year for the Tigers. The only time he's ever hit 300 in his major league career. Trying to do it again.
Swing and a miss.
96 fastball right by Prince.
Rangers have some life here in the 9th inning. Tying run is actually on deck. Fielder takes low as McCann blocks it. 1 ball and 1 strike.
First time Feliz has gone up against his former team since the Tigers acquired him, so you know he has a little extra adrenaline out there tonight going up against his former teammates.
Feliz saved as many as 40 in a season for the Rangers back in 2010. Follow that up with 32 the next year.
Rookie of the year here in Texas.
Way high. 97 from Feliz, and the count now is 2-1. This game has got a little bit uncomfortable here.
Well, it's going to be power against power here. Prince is a good hitter, good power hitter. And he's throwing some fastballs at 96, 97.
Fielder fouled it away.
Threw him an off-speed pitch at 89. Gutsy pitch, but executed beautifully.
2-2 on Prince Fielder. Bases loaded with Rangers. We're in the 9th. 1 out. Fouled away again. High octane in the fastballs from Feliz. Fielder this season 1 for 8 with the bases loaded. 1 grand slam in his career. Ooh, we just got a piece staying alive. 98 that time from Feliz.
Told you he had a little extra adrenaline tonight. There was a time where Feliz used to see me throw fastballs in the 100-mile-per-hour range with regularity.
Last appearance here for Feliz was on July the 3rd against the Angels. A couple of hits, a couple of innings of work, and he was designated for assignment after that game. And in protect mode, Fielder fouls another one back. Feliz had given up 10 earned runs in 19 2/3 before the Tigers picked him up after he was designated for assignment. 2-2. Popped him up, but back toward the screen and out of play.
Prince is giving Feliz a battle. And Phillies has been 98, 97, 96 with a lot of his fastballs. And that last breaking ball was absolutely wicked. But Prince somehow able to foul it off.
Ninth pitch in the at-bat coming up. And again, the 2-2. Inside, and now it's gone full at 3-2. This has turned into a heck of an at-bat for Prince Fielder. It's about to be a 10-pitch at-bat. Here's the 3-2 coming home. Grounded foul. Kroll started the inning by getting Odor to ground out. Then Chirinos doubled. Walks to Napoli, and Chu loaded the bases, and that was it. And Brad decided to go to the bullpen and pull out Feliz. Even though he had a lefty-lefty matchup with Kroll, he just couldn't find the plate. 3-2. And pitch number 11 in this at-bat. Forthcoming. Line drive to center, base hit. Chirinos comes around to score. Stubbs coming around to score. Prince Fielder in an epic 12-pitch at bat singles to center field and scores two more for Texas, and it's 7-4.
That was one of the best at-bats I've seen this year. Prince Fielder, the former Tiger, 12 pitches. He saw everything but the kitchen sink from Feliz, finally shortening it up with swing with 2 strikes and hit an absolute laser up the middle. Look at where all those pitches were. Up, down, in, out. He was able to foul them all off until he finally got that really good pitch he can handle, and he didn't miss it. What an at-bat.
It is a 4 RBI night for Prince Fielder. Strasburger comes in a pinch run at first base.
Classic at bat.
(7-4) ball game now, and the tying run will come to the plate. Adrian Beltre will step in with still only 1 out.
And those runs were charged to Ian Kroll.
Strike 1. Seven runs, 12 hits for the Tigers. Now 4 runs on 10 hits for the Rangers. Singled and 4 at-bats for Beltre. Swing and a miss. He left the strike zone.
That ball was over his head.
0-2.
Adrian Beltre has grounded into 17 double plays this year. Number 18 would be lovely. And send the Tigers home winners. Well, for a strikeout, though.
Fouled straight back, right below us. Whoa, Rod.
Right below us.
I mean, that thing came within inches of coming in the booth.
It sure did. That's what you get called against that monitor.
What do you say those came to eat?
That one came to eat. Damn. It came right at me, too.
The look on your face was priceless.
Goodness gracious.
Low and away, 1-2. I thought you were just sizing it up to make a play on it.
No,
but you
I
never
was looking
saw
at
it.
the monitor. I never saw it.
Well, it is Drew Verhagen warming up now. He was up earlier in the game. One and two. Bouncing ball to short, could be two. Machado, Romine, and there's your double play.
Number 18, ask and you shall receive.
6-4-3 to end the threat, end the rally, and end the ball game. Tigers hold on to win this one tonight. 7-4 your final score. As the Rangers made it interesting, but Phillies gets it done. We'll be back.